Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures trying to bounce back a little bit here this morning, back in positive territory anyways, after the sell-off we saw late in the day yesterday. That was, of course, triggered by news the Biden administration was considering a capital gains tax increase to as much as 43.4% on wealthy individuals. We'll talk about that in depth coming up here. It was Bloomberg that reported it first, followed by the Wall Street Journal and New York Times that were quick to follow on that. So the increase would go from 20% up to 39.6% as a cap on those making $1 million or more per year. Following the news, the Dow was down 300 plus points at the end of the day. The S&P 0.9% lower, the NASDAQ about 0.9% at the end of the day as well to the downside. The S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ down 1.2, 1.1, and 1.6% on the week heading into the session this morning. Lots of earnings to get through this morning. Intel, of course, reporting lower in the pre-market. Snapchat, the other direction, higher on a beat for Snapchat. Positive here. We'll talk about both coming up. And much more, of course. It's Friday, April 23rd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at futures at this point. You can see the Dow, just dipping back into negative territory there. The S&P still higher. NASDAQ higher as well, just 0.2%. TSX here in Toronto also in positive territory. Another move for Bitcoin to the downside, back below that 50,000 mark now. We'll talk about crypto stocks coming up, crude and gold. Higher to kick off the Friday session. Good morning, guys. Friday, of course, we've made it through another week. What a week it's been. We've had quite the roller coaster, including that move to the downside yesterday following that announcement that the Biden administration, of course, looking into the possibility of an increase for capital gains tax. The market did not like that very much. If you joined us in the afternoon yesterday, we did see, things kind of stabilized by the end of the day. There wasn't that dramatic follow through that everyone was expecting, I guess.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. It wasn't quite the bounce that you might have hoped off the bottom there when that announcement came through. I will say, the world didn't end. So anyone looking at the VIX today, no, the world isn't ending. It's not, it's not like from 9 to 41 here. There was a reverse split that was announced. So do not lose your minds. The timing, obviously, of that coming right after you had a bit of a market drop yesterday, might cause some concern for some people here. But I think we're going to go back to the well. I mean, there was a slight recovery in Bitcoin that got over 50, got back over 50, and we're now bracing back below. That's going to certainly be on watch. It's been a wild week. There's been some interesting IPOs, lots of names in play to watch today, and of course, Skills and Ocugen just going absolutely nuts. Both heading back southbound a little bit today. I feel like it's going to be an exciting day to trade. Yesterday in the morning, Sean, was about as wild as I can remember from a position standpoint. And I kind of feel like today could be a big day for the markets to see how that news gets digested, ending the week, of course, on a Friday, which has been a mixed result. You had that flush out, the recovery, and then right back to the downside to those lows that we saw because of that proposal, which I'm not sure it can get past anyways.
No, yeah. Good morning, traders. Welcome to another day of trading here. Yesterday, 15 symbols. I posted that up, and thank you for the love there on Twitter. Went 12 and 3 yesterday on 15 different names, but tons of executions. We just posted up the sticky notes, so make sure you have a look at that. And then, yesterday it was actually, around midnight, I guess, when I tweeted this out, that I was starting to buy some more cryptocurrency because last night BTC, ETH, a lot of different names started to head to the downside. Thank you so much for all the love that was here. There's over like 60 comments on this alone, people telling what stocks they want to buy or which coins they want to buy and everything like that. So that was really exciting. And again, yesterday too, 15 symbols, 12 and 3. We'll look to see what happens here today. We have a bunch of different names on watch. I'm not loving Intel as much as I'm loving Snapchat today. We'll be watching that. Palantir is going to be on the watching it. They're never going to get that passed, so it doesn't even, for me, it's not even an issue, but it is something to talk about. Again, just keep your money in the best stocks and everything will be fine, right? The thing is that this is another angle, right? Many investors have money tied up into retirement savings plans, tax sheltered plans, things like that. Here in Canada, RRSPs, down south there, 401ks and stuff like that. We're not selling these positions anyways, right? And so for me, it's not a huge deal, but I guess if you are trading for gains, as in maybe income, things like that, then obviously capital gains is going to be a problem. But for many of the market, I don't think this is a huge thing. If it gets passed, it's going to be obviously a big change. But you know what else is true? There's no talk on dividend tax hikes, right? And so what that really does is make a stock like AT&T, Dow Chemicals, Verizon, here in Canada, Enbridge. It doesn't matter. You can invest in these in the States as well. A lot of the telecoms, a lot of the big blue chip dividend players become more valuable. So overnight, they became more valuable because if you're going to increase capital gains and not do anything to the dividend taxes, then what I would think about would be to put my money into something like an AT&T where I'm not going to get the capital appreciation, but I'm going to get that 6% dividend that's taxed as normal, right? And so for me, I think it's a double-edged sword there. You can invest more in dividend-paying stocks and then forget about this capital gains thing, or you just don't have to worry about it because the next president will probably overturn this. And as long as your money is in the market, then who really cares? That's my hot take. I don't know if it's that hot, Brendan.
I was already reading this morning as well. There were moderate Democrats, I guess, coming out with different numbers, so suggesting already somewhere in between the 26 to 28%. So yeah, there's no way that's going through, but possibly something will happen. We'll keep an eye on that, obviously. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Guys, it was an intense week and I wish you all the luck to finish it successfully. Please make sure to like this video and let's get it started, Brendan.
Let's indeed get it started, guys, with a look at the top 10 trader list from Day Trade the World yesterday. Big numbers coming out of mostly U.S. markets here. Number one, 43,000. Number one, Chicago CME, some futures action. NASDAQ, New York, NYMEX, 30,000. Look at Europe here. Whole bunch of European markets producing 22,000. Same story at number four, 18,000 there coming out of Europe. That's why we show you this, guys, every single day, or as much as we can, to highlight the fact that there's opportunities right across the board, not necessarily all coming out of U.S. markets. Let's talk about a few things that are worthy of note heading towards the open. We obviously had Snapchat earnings. We had Intel that we're going to get into. This INO, though, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, one that was a high flyer way back at the beginning of the pandemic, to the downside in a big way this morning. The government saying they're no longer funding their research and their trials for this COVID-19 vaccine. So not a good look here for INO, now 30% to the downside.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I will say for INO is, well, they were already down from a 36 top down to like $8. So look, the stock has already gotten beaten up quite a bit. It's actually coming into some, well, if you go all the way back into the beginning of the year, some prices, this $6 range, where you might think they're might be a little something. I quickly, when I sat back down, getting ready, let's just say, this morning, and caught this like well after the news, shorted a bit of a pop, and then I just looked back in that daily and saw that 6 to 620 level and was like, okay, well, that seems like a reasonable target. And then it's still showing incredible weakness here. Like, it just tried to pop back up. I'm like, okay, I'll throw an offer here in the 50s to 60s, thinking, it might be able to short the pop, get the next little level up, and then you'll be able to take another trade. That hasn't happened, at least for now. I think that area on the daily, that 6 to 620, seems to be holding, but yeah, it's kind of those watershed moments. And this is one of the reasons why, I mean, one of the values I think, well, I know certainly for the program is, I mean, you're sitting there with a professional platform that's able to get the live news, and Brendan will get to you right there, and you'd have a fantastic price, certainly if you're able to short into this one when it dropped, because it almost didn't matter. Like, being late, who cares? If you were anywhere early in here, whether it's 8, whether it's even catching it here around that 7 to 750, or on this pop into 720, all of those have worked. Now that it's made a base at that level on the daily chart at 620, I mean, I kind of hoped it would pop the first time into that range. I'm probably going to play it by ear, see what happens, maybe let it get to like $6.80 to $7 before shorting any pop. And I wouldn't necessarily be calling a bottom here. That's just not a good story for them. And you can see on the chart just how weak the same has already been.
Yeah, I mean, Neil just went over some levels. I haven't really gone over that story, but yeah, I mean, you lose government funding, and if that's what you're based on, then yeah, you're screwed. I mean, that's sort of the backbone that you have there. So INO just continues to look like a dog's breakfast.
Indeed, yeah, along with some of these other vaccine names. Just having a look at an interesting headline here, guys. Producer Robbie, bringing my attention to this. Our friends at MindMed, guys, starting to trade today on the NASDAQ. So MN, let me just grab the ticker here just so I know it for sure. It's going to be MNMD. My apologies, MNMD on the NASDAQ. So we can maybe, I'm not sure, I didn't even check if it's in our system yet, but yeah, here it is. MNMD on the NASDAQ. Actually, April 27th. My apologies. April 27th is going to be day number one. So that is Tuesday. So we'll have a look at that. I just saw the headline as I was scanning through there. But yeah, congratulations to our friends at MindMed, JR Ron. Kevin O'Leary as well. Yeah, moving to the NASDAQ. Last time they were here, they were talking about that.
Yeah, they've been getting, man, a lot of these, I mean, look, a lot of the psychedelic space has been getting woodshedded as well. I mean, again, high-flying names, upside, comes down to 260 and change right now. Obviously, like you mentioned, Brendan, this is not a new story. It's just congratulations to Kevin O'Leary, JR Ron, you know, our friends at MindMed. Monumental day, to say the least. And, you know, when you get uplisted, obviously it means more eyes, it means more attractive capital, you know, situations. You get more investment. Hopefully, this is the starting point here for them. They've had a nice little base here at 3 and 3 and change. Remember, this is such new ideas, a new space. So you are going to get this kind of fluctuation. I've invested in MindMed, so you know I like it as a shot here. And again, it's new medicine. There's some new ideas here. You can check. We have them up on I think it's our Market Wisdom page. We have a couple different interviews there. Is it Valeria? Market Wisdom, yeah. We do have a couple interviews with JR Ron and Kevin O'Leary about this company. I like it, but I know it's a little bit controversial. So watch MindMed. I mean, MNMD. April 27th, so it looks like, I guess 27 is what, next Tuesday or something? So that's very exciting. Congratulations to everybody over at MindMed. Pick it up if it's something you're interested in. I think it's worth a long-term hold for sure.
Interesting to see the reaction. We'll have a look at that coming up on Tuesday, guys, the 27th. Let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies, to have a chat about what he is expecting for a Friday trading session. Mark, we have a lot to get through this morning, obviously headlines to discuss. Give us your take out of the gate here on what happened yesterday afternoon.
I think it was a trial balloon, as you would call it, to see how the street, how lawmakers would view the potential capital gains lift to double what it's been in history. My guess is it'll come down once it's negotiated, but Mr. Biden, who ran on all of these platforms, is trying to get everything done he can in the next 14 months. No surprise.
Let's shift focus over to, I mean, the market move was the market move. We're seeing a bounce back, you know, in many areas this morning. Overall, the future's kind of flat. Is there a sector maybe that you're looking at for a bit of a rally today?
There may be a rally today, but I'm looking for lower levels. I think this was the catalyst that's just not going to go away. It'll be discussed. It won't be tomorrow, but anybody who believes that they won't be taxed more for trading is foolish. Whether crypto gets whacked, as the rumors were out yesterday, that's to be seen, but that will certainly get regulated with Mr. Gensler at the SEC.
And certainly more follow through we saw in cryptocurrency markets to the downside than equities. I mean, we were saying, you know, the close yesterday was, you know, not as bad as it certainly could have been. I want to talk about this news on Pfizer and BNTX. There was data that came out saying their vaccines, and Moderna as well included in that, effective on all variants. So there was that, and then the new deal that they signed, BNTX and Pfizer, with the EU. Does this matter at this point?
It just matters because You're looking at a population, at least in the U.S., that hasn't been vaccinated yet. Some anti-vaxxers, some people that just haven't been able to get to sites that have vaccines. So if there's more and more data points of relevance that make you feel comfortable, give you comfort or confidence, I should say, then that's a good thing. Will it matter to the stock prices? I would say marginally at best.
All right, so we are about a week into earnings at this point. What have been your highlights this week, and what are you still looking forward to as far as names to come on the reporting side?
Oh, as I said before, anything that shows guidance is a home run. The only problem is going to be with stocks, let's say Kimberly-Clark, KMB, that came out, where toilet paper sales have plummeted. You have to look for those solid companies that had a push because of COVID, whether or not it's sustainable. So that could be restaurants because of takeout. That could be consumer staple stocks like a Kimberly-Clark or a Procter & Gamble or a Clorox. That's what I worry about. But if these stocks come off, they'll be strong buys.
One name to throw at you quickly here. Speaking of guidance, Skechers out with guidance today. Give us your thought on Skechers.
Sure. The chart itself is very, very powerful. It broke out from that 45.5 level, trading at 49. At this point, I think you've got room somewhere into the, we'll call it 60 area. So I'm a bull on this. I like buying a little bit of weakness midday if it's a day trade. If it's a swing trade, again, the same, but 60 is my target.
Hi, Mark. And we always love to get stock-specific news from the stockfather himself. But I kind of want to start maybe with the futures just for a quick second here, because on that move, obviously the announcement came out and there was a bit of a shock to the market. I'm just maybe looking at the ES in particular. We did have what do you want to call it? What do you want to call it? These bottoms here at that 41.10 area, and the ES sort of approached it. But if I look over at, whoops, go the wrong way here. If I look over at the NASDAQ, like the NASDAQ, I mean, just a little bit further, came right down to that 13.7 level. So you can sort of see what I'm getting at here. What's that, like you said, maybe there could be the impetus to sell, which could have already been in the market for a bit of a pullback, was triggered by yesterday. Are you saying if we break those levels today, is that kind of like the watershed moment, or would you be thinking about fading into, or maybe selling into that kind of a bottom, just assuming it's going to be tested? Like, is that a support level that is going to matter across the board today, and we should have it in the back of our minds, or are we just thinking this is an impetus to sell off regardless?
I think at this point everybody's looking for an excuse to sell. I think it's necessary to take profits. I've always been a believer in that. When things look stretched, takes them off the table. Too many traders that I've talked to have gotten caught where now they're investors and they were meant to be traders. Yes, that 41.10 area is critical. NASDAQ also the same for its levels. The S&P has slightly better stocks above a 50 and a 100-day moving average. NASDAQ and Russell do not. There is huge divergence going on, and this worries me greatly. So I'm not surprised that yesterday was a toboggle, but I see more of those happening, whether it's news items or, as I'm looking for late May, early June, a dramatic sell-off.
Thanks a lot for for the thoughts there. I know we usually talk stock. We got to talk to futures sometimes here when you get moves like that. One last one before I get you out of here, Mark, and I just want to discuss Intel a little bit here. Now, most of the report was pretty good when you talk about the EPS beat, but there's more competition in especially the cloud chip space there. They are going down the foundry road, which I think is a good move for them, but that's probably not going to do much for the stock in the short term. You are seeing it sell off. I mean, part of it is a bit of a pullback. I mean, Oracle had a pullback off of its top as well. So part of it was probably already coming in, and we've seen some of these tech names. It doesn't matter if the beat. You're going to get a little bit of sell action, especially off that 69 resistance. This question sort of becomes here, I'm looking back and saying today, if you get a fall through that $60 area, and thinking about picking some up, some more I should say up in that like 57, 58, things get absolutely out of hand, because with what happened yesterday, there's that anticipation that maybe you could get another sort of dramatic sell-off, and something that just came out with strong earnings that gets sold, I would tend to be a believer in, especially if you like it long term, which if you're looking 5-10 years down the road, or even a couple of years down the road. I mean, I like Intel. What are your thoughts here, or are you sort of just holding off on this one and letting it play out for the next couple of days, like 2 or 3 days after earnings instead?
Well, you've hit a lot of topics. Typically, I like to wait a day or two. If I'm going to trade it, I would wait for those lower levels. I'm facing the same issue with Honeywell. I've got a full position. The stock's down $4 off of earnings. I'm going to face the same thing. Do I buy more if it dips into the 220 area, 215 area? The same with Intel, which I do not own. Intel, to me, is a great company. Long term, I would try to buy some as low as I could into that support area you discussed.
Thank you very much there, Mark. Honeywell, I mean, look, that's a fantastic looking chart, that one, and it's a great company, I believe, as well. Have a fantastic weekend, first of all. Always thank you for your wisdom. The Stockfather never disappoints us, so take care, and best of luck with that Honeywell decision. I got one as well in Intel.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, guys, notable upgrades and downgrades for today. Airlines have been really busy all week on the upgrades and downgrade side. So back on here, Raymond James, American Airlines, no price target, interestingly, but they did initiate coverage. There's multiple energy companies you can see, mostly on the downgrade side today, but heads up for energy traders. They could be active, and yeah, Snap is on here. This could go either way. There was a few analysts that were increasing price targets. There were a few cuts as well. So KeyCorp down to $80 on Snapchat. It's up 5% though, guys.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. Usually we'll come from that and talk about some of the upgrades and downgrades. I want to jump in here and just make a comment. I want to get it right here. We just had Eunice. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I hadn't seen Naked Brands on the move there. There was a news story, so it looks like they voted for approval of a transaction to divest some brick and mortar operations. So stories like this, at the end of the day, they're usually very, very much expected, and not to say that they're essentially baked in, but not going to be like groundbreaking moves. Now, I'm going to come back to the last time, and there's a couple of moves. Now, I would treat a move off the bottom like you saw last week a little bit differently from when you have like these massive spikes which carry you through multiple levels. So that last one into 78, which is the day that we traded it, I do sort of note what happened in the flush back, and if you zoom in a little bit on that day, you're going to sort of see it get right in, try to level out at about 62 to 64 cents, flush again, and then fail to get back above that 65 mark, right? So immediately, like the first thing, and apologies, we couldn't get to this one a little bit fast, but immediately the first thing I think about, okay, 65 is going to be a significant price. You fast forward to today, and you look at where it starts to turn around. So, if you're sitting there and you actually had it off of this 46, maybe you bought it off this 50 level, and you're staring 25% in the face, which also happens to be like 62, 63 cents or so. Yeah, that's a bit of a range where there's going to be some profit taking. I'm not saying it's going to flush from here. I just started looking at it. I haven't even had the level 2 up to watch how liquidity has been or what the volume is like. But that 65 is certainly the first level of interest. You can already see it tried to turn around off of it. Good sign so far, I would at least say, that it didn't plow through that 62.5 and then sort of come all the way back in. But this is now a penny stock which is on my radar for the day. So thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Lots to get through. Let's get into what is moving around in the pre-market this morning. If you haven't done so yet, head over to that link, sign up for the watch list. You can check it out every single morning. We post it before we come on at 8:30. Lots of good stuff to get through this morning on that watch list. We'll kick things off with Intel. I mean, the report, yeah, wasn't really all that bad. The revenue was kind of in line with expectations. Their forward guidance was kind of in line with expectations. But overall, Intel to the downside this morning, guys.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, look, Intel went on that huge run, really. I mean, they're kind of old tech at this point, but they are trying to revamp themselves. Intel's getting crushed on the chip side by AMD and by NVIDIA, but it's nice to see this move back up. I wonder how much of this, I talked about the activism that happened down here, so bringing that stock from like 40. I mean, if you look at Intel here, just even over a longer time frame, it's still kind of dead money. I mean, back to November, like we're back to right now November of like 2019 levels, something like that. Like if you look at an NVIDIA or an AMD or anything like that, you'll see a much different story. But so they miss, basically. I mean, you're down 3.5% here today. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest number there. People expecting a little bit better. You see the run that Intel has been on. It's still choppy stock. I mean, they are a dividend. They do pay a dividend as well. So that's kind of the reason why I like it. But you are below the 50 period now. Not good. And then I have a 60-50 break. I put it on the sticky note there. I'm going to take a short here if we do break below this low of the day. You know, they didn't like the number when it first came out. They took it down to $60. They brought it back. They couldn't even get it above yesterday's close, really. So, you know, I prefer the other names rather than Intel. But, it is going to be a little bit of a rough ride here, I think, for the NASDAQ. Although today we're up that 0.16, right? A lot of the names that I have on my list, some of them are going to be bullish plays. But for Intel, yeah, a break of this 60-50, which is going to happen right now. I'm going to go short and then probably give it back to, I mean, it's funny because we still have, the market's still not open for another 25 minutes. So, I mean, you got to give it back to at least the 61.50. So like $1 worth of risk here. I do want to fade into it as well. So if we can get a short up around 61, something like that, we'll put some orders there too. So I don't see Intel really breaking anybody's back today if you go short. But if they want to, then you do have that 61.50 area to get out. Here's a 20-minute chart as well. Back to 62, you may want to give it to that as well. So depending on your opinion here for Intel, mine is negative, but that can change. This is that level right there, 61.50. So if it comes back up there and breaks that, then we know we're wrong. But it's touched 60.50 a lot there, so we're going to be short through 60.50, average it up until 61.50. So let's see what happens today with Intel.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be bearish. And that's why I think expecting a chance that we fall through that 60 even area and where you think it's an interesting buy. As a long-term play, they're making some interesting changes, which I think are pretty solid. And new CEO seems to be doing a good job and has confidence of a lot of people, former Intel employee there. Now, as far as I like the fade trade. I've got away from breakouts, which I should have taken a breakdown in Ocugen there, but didn't have the pay for shorts. I'll look back to that one again because they're cheap. But 61.50 to 62 was sort of the range I was looking at. I just kind of looked at where there was some consolidation before at that 62 level. You kind of have it stick out at least a little bit on that chart. I'd love to be fading into this one, but sometimes best laid plans it can get thrown out. If it gets a bit of a buy off the open and there's a tiny little pop and the market starts maybe heading southbound, I got to be willing to step in that little consolidation zone of 60.80 to 61, nibble at that area, and then think a little bit better about a bigger pop to the upside. So I want to be nimble. This is not like Peloton short the other day where I was just like, eventually it's going to come down kind of thing. I mean, Intel's it's sort of a different beast there, but it's sort of the same general feeling I have. I want to be selling into strength today. I feel like there's some buy levels down there if it breaks 60, but they're a long ways away. It would take quite a market sell-off, which is not impossible, I suppose, for it to get down there. That's why you have to have it in the back of your mind. But yeah, it's got to be a short on strength for me today. I just don't love the breakdown trade at 60.50 with that 60 level in the aftermarket holding. I think maybe we get a bounce just because of it, and then we can sell into that.
We're going to get to Snapchat here. Before we do, though, let's bring in Arun and check out the market. Have a look at the futures this morning because, yeah, it's another one of those days, Arun. It's feeling a little negative here, although we're kind of still in, that range where we could go either way.
Yeah, after that big move yesterday, a day like yesterday opens up a ton of potential levels, right? If they can break through. So in this case, though, even though we got below the level that I was looking at, we have gone back under and now we're just sitting sideways and we've opened up back to the bigger range, which is 41.85 on the top end and 4100, which I have marked off on the bottom end. We're sitting at 30. One thing I am looking at now is, though, the potential for this to be a consolidation, given what we're doing and what we've been doing in the last, say, 4 trading hours. I mean, the final 2 hours of yesterday, and let's just say since 8 o'clock today, maybe 3-4 hours. It seems to be there's a ton of activity around this 41.35. Sorry, 41.35 is what I'm referring to. 41.35 to 41.40. There seems to be a lot of activity. I'm just going to go ahead and take a shot on the short side. If we can get a bounce up, I don't want to pay in the low 30s, but if we can get into the mid to the high 30s, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at the short side with 55 as a stop. I think a 20-point risk for this type of trade makes sense to me, because if we do take the bottom, and here's the potential, right? If we take the bottom, and the bottom, we found some support below 20, yes, but if we kind of go right through that, you might just have a wash all the way down to 4,100, which allows for the trade to really open up, some stops get blown. It's a Friday, so you have to factor in how many people want to hold their positions over the weekend. Is today going to be a potential, recovery day after yesterday's move, or is this just going to be the closing out of positions going into the weekend? So Friday is always a special day, regardless of whether it's an expiration Friday or if it's just normal Friday. You do want to pay attention, because not everyone wants to hold on to things as we go into a few days off, right? Saturday, Sunday, you can't do anything. If news comes out, things change. Things can change very quickly and could be ugly for people. So they tend to take profit, or they tend to close out their position. So that's a factor that you have to build into your strategy as well. So for me, I'm thinking, this could just be a potential consolidation for a breakdown. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at the short. If I'm wrong, though, I'll take the hit. I'll walk away. If we go back above 41.55, I honestly don't know what this market can do, because at that point you're just reestablishing the bigger range and you just kind of have to sit tight. So I see one trade. I'll take a shot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll just walk away.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Let's continue along here, guys. Lots to get through on the watch list this morning. The next one, as I mentioned, Snapchat. The initial weakness we saw when the report came out was primarily due to the per share number. It was 19 cents on the loss side versus an expected 6 cents. But then they came out with a whole bunch of positive stuff, and we saw the stock actually reverse, including they expect 80% revenue growth in the second quarter, and the daily active user number was really positive as well. 22% increase in daily active users for Snap year over year.
Yeah, the algos, you know what's going to happen. The initial reaction is just going to be like that fast finger algorithmic trading responding to the first numbers. And you start thinking about Snapchat, and then you get the recovery, you get people going out. That's only going to help them in terms of not only, obviously, what are you talking about if you're at home? At the end of the day, what are you sending out if you're at home? You can do that all you want, but it's definitely, I think, a recovery play. It's kind of robust. I'm looking at a couple of levels today. The first thing is going to stand out is going to be this, and it's a bit of a price area. I'm not going to draw a line in the sand at 60, because I look at this band from 59.50 to about 60.50, and that's this little wave where you can have a potential breakout in Snapchat. The good news about the selling that just came off there to the downside is it showed you sort of somewhat the level of strength in the stock. That despite that, when people digested the report, they're like, forget about that. Let's buy it up, buy it up, buy it up. And then it blew through the closing end range as well. So I like that strength. I think if we can hold that 59.50 today, barring any kind of a flush in the market, Snapchat's one that I want to be long, and probably only long today. You look at this, it's going to look pretty obvious at the top here, whether you like 60.50 to the breakout or maybe wait for that 3/4 mark. I do tend to think, because in the back of my mind, I think there's going to be a bit of a sell. I am looking to the bottom end of that range to pick up some shares on Snapchat in front of 59.50. That's always going to be a better go zone for me. It looked like we might get that fill pre-market, but we actually still have about half an hour to go. So there is some time to not just have the breakout trade. They have not worked out too well. I'm not taking a break at the high of the day on Snapchat in pre-market. I've sort of gotten away from that. I'm going to stick to it. We had Oxygen shares to be able to short free yesterday. You had to pay for them today. I missed a $10 break. It is coming back in. I just got some, not a great price, but like at 83.5 to the short side. So Oxygen's been a big time runner. Just got a new position alert on that one. But Snapchat, I'm buying in front of 59.50. I'll wait until the open to maybe look at that top break.
Yeah, I mean, I'm same way, but I am going to take a 60-50 break. There is some size here. We're just going to take that break if it does happen. I think it goes probably right away to 61 and change. So I think it's a smooth 50 cents if you can get that early. But yeah, 59.50 has to be defended. I mean, we've talked about Snapchat for a long time here. You know, I said that if there was a big amount of shorts, I mean, I called this yesterday, that they would probably beat, and then you would see them take out to 64. But then we got a hold of the fact that there wasn't that many shorts on this. So that's why you only get up 6%. But hey, I called the beat. Here's the beat. It's up 6%. Congratulations if you took that advice. You know, we talked about buying Snapchat through 56 here. That was a good trade. It went to 66, but it touched back downside and it actually held. So these levels are pretty good down here. Again, who knows? I should be in. Oh no, it's because it didn't print breakthrough 50 yet. There we go. So now we're in 51s. We just took a Snapchat long there. You can see first tick right there. I have two positions now. Snapchat long. We're putting our money where our mouth is right now. Snapchat long, and we have this Intel short through 60-50. So one long, one short now. Intel, I talked about why I don't like that name, and talking now about why I do. See, there it is right away. You know, you can get 60s right now. So we're in the money already 10 cents on this play. I mean, we're long 51s, but we'll see how high this can go. If we can get something out around 61, we'll take a first leg there on Snapchat, and then we'll just move forward. But hey, I like Snapchat to the long side. I don't have a Snapchat account, but obviously with these kind of numbers, you know, the revenue per user up, beating expectations. Whenever you do that, especially in social media, that's going to be, I mean, look at this. Just like we already said right there, hit the cowbell. Like, you guys can celebrate and trade some of these other stocks, make, you know, 10, 20 cents, but right there instantly in just a couple seconds, you do get that Snapchat break to the high side. So let's get some off if we can get it near that 61.
All right, Microvision, the LiDAR company we talked about yesterday, a lot of focus on this week because of Wall Street Bets. This was the #1 mentioned stock on Reddit's forum, Wall Street Bets, over Tuesday and Wednesday. So lots of volume coming into this thing. We're higher again this morning, but this one looking weak as well, starting to, speaking of Ocugen, looking to break to the downside here.
Yeah, I was looking at both of these stocks, and look, obviously, there's about 13 million shares of volume in Ocugen as opposed to Microvision, which is done to 350,000, and that essentially breaks the tie. Like, if I like the rollover breaking at $10 on Ocugen, and then you look at this sort of 1390 area, and I can go to the higher time frame just to be able to see. It put in that top at 15. I missed it. We talked about 15 being that sort of wait around zone, and then on the pop back to the upside when it made that huge flush in yesterday's action, it got back to that sort of $14 area. So when you see it break through that floor, it's sort of an obvious sort of go zone for the short trade. But I mean, Ocugen's just so much more active, I should say, and that's for pre-market trading. It's almost a no-brainer which one you're going to go to. All that said, I think this is probably equally good a short. I kind of feel like this is more one where this didn't really flush much. It's only come down like 10, 15 pennies here since that break. That means there's at least a decent chance that if it gets bottom to the open, we can test and maybe catch something in the 14.15, 14.20 range off of the high of the day without taking a momentum breakdown. Maybe it'll be one of those fail to get through the top, or maybe even fail to get back through 14 off of the open, and then you catch a rollover trade with an obvious stop at the high of day. That's likely the way that I would play MVIS today. Ocugen just seems like it's, I mean, not seems like, it is more active, and it's certainly so far the better trade. I mean, it's all the way down here in the 50s. I should take some off in the 50s, as a matter of fact. I mean, Ocugen just continues to fall, just more active than MVIS, but it was a good short off of 1390. I just didn't take it.
Yeah, I mean, you can never doubt the wall. I mean, this was my one of my #1 stocks yesterday. One of my top stocks yesterday was MVIS. Look, this is the level that we were looking at yesterday, and we were able to get some out. Remember, we went long in the pre-market yesterday, or was it long? No, I think we must have waited because, oh yeah, we had a bunch of average downs into this 13 area. That can happen again. We'll take that. I was looking at this 1450 level, but that was in the pre-market yesterday that it went all the way up, and we took this 1350 break long in the pre-market, ran it up to this 1450. We always talk about going back a little bit, and you could see this was back to April 14th, where we touched 1450, and then we touched 1450 yesterday as well. So those are some levels to look at. I want to go long through 1450, but it needs a little bit of work to get there. I already have the order in, so if it goes upside, we will take a 1450 bid and go long there. But that's just one thing there on MVIS. You know, you could come down, obviously, and if you do, then you got to watch out for this 13 level on that name. So we're going to watch out for MVIS. I like it. I mean, it's a Reddit name, so I don't think shorting is a great idea, but it's bounced off those levels. So, you know, again, if we run out of cash, then the Reddit rebellion can't continue to buy, right? So we'll wait to see MVIS. I like the name. I like what they're doing. And even on the daily chart, it's, oh, come on. Even on, I'll bring you this daily chart here in case, oh, there it goes, that loaded up. It's not really doing anything, right? So you got to get above that 15, you got to get above this 50 period, which is 1550. So first 1450 break is right here, and then 1550. But for right now, it's already such a nice move. And in these markets where profit's hard to come by, I think that there is probably a little bit of gas that's out of this stock right now. So, you know, it's already made its move from 10 to 15. That seems like, or 14, that seems like a good area to take some profit. So no surprise if MVIS starts to come to the downside.
All right, let's quickly go through Nikola here, guys. No additional news on Nikola today. There was just the Jeffrey Ubben interview yesterday on CNBC that ignited this thing in a big way. Even with the market sell-off, it was pretty impressive when I came in this morning and noted that, you know, this thing not only stayed positive, but was very strong throughout the afternoon. Another one of these charts, though, looking very similar here, starting to break downside.
Nikola.
Yeah, I didn't have very much. I mean, I shorted. The only good thing about trading Nikola yesterday was all 4 shorts had tight stops. Like I was basically risking 10 to 15 pennies on every single one of them. The problem is I lost 10 to 15 pennies on every single short that I tried in Nikola. Even when I tried to get that top, it was just, it was pretty relentless. So I'll give credit to whomever was buying the stock yesterday, but it does feel a little bit weaker. I mean, you get right into that 1280 range, you make the lower high. That's just a very similar look to what we just talked about there in MVIS, at least for the formation. And then you get the breakdown trade. I mean, when you have a lack of success on a particular stock, it's just overwhelmingly strong. And Nikola's been so beaten up. I just don't know if this is the one I necessarily want to pick on today. I do like that 12 level, and I did write it down. I look at that 12. I would look any bounce in at the open to 1240 to 1250 and play it off that lower high. I wouldn't necessarily give that to the high of the day. Every single time I gave something to the high of the day in Nikola, showing it yesterday, you just threw away a little bit of extra money there. So you saved yourself some by not doing that play. If it pops into like 1240, 1250, I'd be looking at the volume in the tape. Like if it's not overwhelming volume, you know, maybe closer to the average that it had at those bottoms, I think maybe that's an easier point to sell into. Sorry, you guys can't see that. Bring this up a little bit. Like if it's more in that range that we're seeing, and how was that volume up in your charts? Wow, you guys still can't see that. That's ridiculous. Now you guys can. If it's more in this range here and it pops into that 1240, and it's not crazy volume, I think that's a better opportunity to maybe sell into it there. So not the first place I'd go into the short. I'm never really buying the stock. I haven't been convinced of that yet. I just don't know if I'm going to be overwhelmingly trying 3 or 4 shorts on Nikola. Not today.
Yeah, I'd rather look at Fisker. We talked about Fisker yesterday. Fisker, again, another stock that was pretty big for me there yesterday. And we talked about that, defending this 13 area. So that happened right off the open. We got long, I mean, unbelievable that we got long down here. We got long 1321 or something like that, basically the bottom. Maybe it was 31, but it doesn't matter. So we ran all the way to the upside there, big move for Fisker. And I told you that was gonna happen, right? I told you that Goldman Sachs downgraded these guys so that they could get long. So there you go. So that's exactly what happened. And then right now, you're gonna see a little bit of a consolidation there. You do have 1350 area. We're gonna test along there, test more longs, and then break it down if it does go. Uh-oh. It's already time to rain down on some Intel money right here. So there it is, already 25 cents in the money. We just took 2 pieces off, and I just tweeted about it as well. So we just took some off there, 60.50. We took some off at 4.35, and then we just got 27s there on the downside. Next stop, $60. All aboard the Intel train, guys. Gave that one to you. Loving that response from Intel here. We talked about it going short side. There it is. Congratulations, anybody that did that. Now you're in the money, 25 cents, and still going to the downside. Someone said that, yeah, we don't, I actually get paid to take these trades, right? Like this one I had to pay for because we remove liquidity, unless I got a gateway that pays me, but I doubt it. So that was to remove. And then here, like bidding using NASDAQ or EdgeX or BATS or something like that, you actually get paid to take these out. So we're going to put that profit in our pocket. That's Intel. And then Snapchat as well, still going. It was up to 70 there. We're long at 60.50 right now. So that could be a good trade. I still have, visions. I wrote down here, you can follow on Twitter. It's already getting tons of tons of looks. The Post-it note, I guess you guys like it. But there it is, Snapchat 61.25. So let's get a little bit out now. We took a 60, if I like 61.25 break, then I got to get some here on the 60.50 break. My first position though to get out, my first offer to get out of Snapchat is in the high 70s. So we're almost there right now. Looking to take 30 cents early on this name, or I guess, yeah, close to 30 cents early on this name, and then we'll hold out for 61. But right now, Intel and Snapchat definitely paying off here early in the morning. This should be a good day. The NASDAQ not really moving, which is surprising to me, but we'll have to wait to see where this one wants to go.
Let's look at crypto stocks here, guys. We had Bitcoin down to 48,000, struggling right now to even retake 50,000. So a lot of the crypto names in negative territory, including Coinbase, I noted this morning, on decent volume here as well, down another. It was better part of 3% at one point, but we're kind of in uncharted territory here for Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, everything, and we were talking about this in the afternoon show. I mean, I wrote down while we were doing our end notes, or while we were live trading, I said, I just no bottom with a question mark is my note for Coinbase, because recent listing here, I keep saying IPO, but direct listing. So you have no data, back past those opening prices, that 300 level, which is already broken, and then 250, which was basically the reference price. I mean, there were private sales going on up in that 340 range, and I think that's probably why there was so much chop and resistance at that point. And if I could do it over again, which I can't, I mean, I would certainly have thought about, okay, wait till it absolutely flushes through or resist that level and just give it some time before taking a couple entries in there, because I end up in like 20% of it when at this point I should have like 10% of what I want, because I'm waiting till like 250 at this point. I mean, why not? If you believe in it long term, which I do, I certainly think there's going to be a bounce at some point. But today, given what happened yesterday in crypto, the fact that I think there's probably a bounce more in the 46 to 47 range, I like that level. I definitely love 42. You got to think that Coinbase could be pretty weak. If that's going to be the case, I'm probably going to be, I'd probably sell into any kind of strength that gets you to that 300 level, almost for sure. I don't love breakdown trades, but there is no ignoring that 280 level. And if you think 250 is the thing, you got to be watching that 280 break. First things first, I want to sell into strength and defend 300 if I can. I would also have to look at yesterday's low at 290, which also happens to be the pre-market top there. So I'm bearish on Coinbase for the day trade. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I actually, Silvergate's getting some levels I like. I'm sort of looking at that one. If it gets into that like 107.50 to like 110 range, that's probably not a bad spot to get back in.
Yeah, thank you so much there, Marlon. We'll do a backflip for you as well. Nice on Snap and on Intel. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for, man. We're here to make some money. We're here to give you guys the calls, and I'm just here to analyze these positions for you and give you as much, of my experience as I possibly can. And I mean, and look at Intel, man. Out, and now we're still holding, obviously. We just got that 11, so there it goes, Intel to the downside. We stopped sort of taking pre-market breaks, but hey, I mean, all the levels that I've been having lately, like we're just absolutely on fire this month and continues. I'll find the streak I have for you guys over the last 6 months or so, like positive days to negative days. But you got to start, I just got to start believing in what I'm doing, and that was a good trade there. So there it is right there, a night like 16, like right now, guys, 50 cents in the money. On Intel. We basically have this whole move. So that's a good one for us. And then there you go as well. Bang! We'll spin the money early on Snapchat as well, because there's another win for you guys. 60.50 out, 60.80 right there. So we're at 1/3. We're going to watch Snapchat take out the tops here as we go. But as far as crypto goes, guys, I mean, I see all the love, that you're giving on Twitter and whatnot. We talked about this last night. Bitcoin drops there. I talked about buying some more at 50. I actually bought a small amount of Bitcoin, but I'm more interested in Ethereum. So I did buy some more Ethereum. And then, of course, the baby Cardano gets bought. But I mean, I could buy Cardano forever and my average price would still be pretty low, but that doesn't matter. We're talking about what's ahead, not what's behind us. 51,000. Look, I mean, crypto is probably going to be in trouble. Mark Roberts talked about that. We've talked about some of the tax implications and whatnot in the crypto space as well. So that's all going to be a little bit affected. So we'll have to watch out for Mara. I don't really I can call up Mara and Ride and all those things, but they're just going to follow the way crypto goes, right? And here's ETH again here, a nice little bottom last night as well. I mean, nice, I don't know, 2,100, but a beautiful bounce back. It got back to 23 and change. So if I was going to buy one of the big boys right now, as man, Snapchat taking out 61 right now. So yeah, winner all about now. We'll fire off the early hot dog cannons. Both these positions, 30 cents in the money. Snapchat does get as high there. Do I have any offers out? Yeah, I do. I have one right before 61, and then we'll wait for that. Let's check out the imbalance locator though quickly to see if anything's changed. Skills, we talked about that on our list. We're going to defend 17, I believe. Yeah, so we'll wait to see if Skills gets down there. Ford, unfortunately, a sell today. We'll look at why. Then there's the Snapchat buy. But really, for a Friday, Brendan, these are not very heavy numbers.
Not terribly exciting. 10 cent on there as well. Yeah, let's talk about Skills. This recent mover has come off the bottom here in a big way on huge volume. This is kind of day one that we're seeing some analysts taking note. Look at the volume coming in over the past couple of days on the daily chart. Up again here, 7%. We did come off a long way in the afternoon yesterday, but 18 here, kind of the middle of the range from yesterday on Skills.
Yeah, I mean, to gap up, I mean, Kathy Wood bought more shares of this as well. So add this to the list of heavy trades, I suppose, for ARK this week. To sell off that 20, get a move all the way back into like 16 range to basically peel everything off from the gap to the upside. And then gap up again, it just shows you the resilience that's in the stock in the week. I kind of look immediately to that 1730 area is a key one. When it comes to breakouts, this has enough momentum that I kind of would prefer to have a look at a breakout in this name. If it gets above that like 1830, 1865, that is a bit of a range, that's like 35-cent range. So I would definitely scalp some off for like 15 to 25 pennies if it breaks the top, and then look to see if it can't make at least a lower high at best at like 19 or 1925. It's very, very different than what you see with like Oxygen, where it was just selling off. I mean, Skills was holding up after this gap up after yesterday, and similar to MVIS. Just a little bit stronger of a chart today, so I'm not looking to short Skills. I know I said that yesterday and then it flushed, but I'm kind of in that same boat again, already looking at that Oxygen. Just to go back, and I want to quickly update, because Oxygen made a bit of a bounce here. It did move all the way down into like 940 here. We're shorting mostly in the 980 range, with about 40 cents that we got in the last little bit. We started to take profit when it got 15 pennies in the money. Now it's consolidating again off 965. Nothing too interesting about that level. I don't like averaging into a position with like the last 10 minutes to go to the short side, especially on a meme stock. So I'm going to hang on to what we have. If it presses up to 10 and fails there at 9:30, then that could be a place to add.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Skills. Bang! Snapchat, just noticing this right now. When the pins line up, you have to start bowling, guys. There goes Snapchat, a beautiful trade all the way. I mean, look at this. We're already in the money, 70 cents here already. So we're going to hit the bangs. We're going to drop them for you. There it is. I mean, how easy was that call through 60.50? Just rewind the tape, guys. Go back to like 9 o'clock, even like way before that. Like 8:50 when we started talking about this name there. I talked about why I like the 60.50 break. And there it is right there. Already getting close to the goal. So that's a big trade. And then Intel as well, breaking through $60. 2 back-to-back jacks right now for us. So slaying some dragons. I don't know if Skills will be a similar dragon to slay today, but we will have a quick look at that one. Yeah, so all I want to do is defend this 17 SKLZ here. Yesterday this was my worst stock. We talked about going 12-3. Yeah, this one hurt early. We went long based on, I mean, it was okay because we were long in here, but then we started defending this drop all the way down, and I think we eventually got out at 18.50, this break of the low, of the pre-market low, right? So we got long here. We took some profits on the high side, not near 20, but somewhere around here, and then it just dropped down. We can look at a daily chart. We've seen $20. Of course, my daily chart won't load. We'll come back to that. Oh, come on. It's skills.ny. I don't know. Sometimes these charts work, sometimes they do not. But this was the level there, 17 yesterday. You could see it held a little bit in the aftermarket, in the afternoon before dropping down on that tax news. I don't really consider that. Wow, Snapchat right now, guys, that's almost $1 now in the money. Okay, unfortunately, we don't get to get that 61.25 break like we had here on the notes there. But, you know, obviously, if we like 61.25, we like 60.50 better. Oh, yeah, and there's the Intel call right there at the top as well. So things going well. But we're going to try to defend the 17 if it does come down. That's skills. We'll take a bid near 17, like 17 teen something. Yeah, there it is. Snapchat, guys, breaks that 61.25 and just continues to rocket upside. 84-cent winner on board and a 40-cent winner on Intel. Let's just keep on going.
All right, let's jump down to Mattel, guys. We're getting close to the open here. 5 minutes to go. Mattel reporting kind of earnings, but they mentioned NFTs. So they mentioned that key phrase. If they're going to get into NFTs and try and create some NFTs with some of their lines that they have, including Barbie, including Hot Wheels, including some of the other ones were mentioned as well. But Mattel, guys, up here on that news this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I love my brother, and he told me to get Hasbro. Now, he's an animator. He does, like, kid stuff, so he knows the space. Look, it's a strong move by Intel. Well, Intel in the brain, because Sean was just talking about it, of course. So by Mattel here. Now, you mentioned that word NFTs. Okay, that's great. That's positive. A lot of times, if you're popping on news and it's solely because of NFT, I'd be looking to fade it. Not the case here. Strong report. To me, it's robust. You can talk about the fact that it was a stay-at-home type of play, but I also believe as people go out and start engaging again, this is going to be something which has some staying power. I mean, at the end of the day, when spending goes up, and I believe in the U.S. consumer, this could be a name to buy. I immediately had, and I threw this out a while ago, the first thing when I sat down, I looked back and was like, I'm going to love this in front of 2150. So I just threw a bid in there just in case it was a flush. Now, Mattel doesn't do pre-market volume, so it's like 55,000 shares, but I was willing to step in front of the train for this one. It just never really materialized. And I just want to say, Sal, I'm going to butcher your last name, I apologize. I'm assuming in your super chat, you're asking between Air Canada and OVV, just because it was Canadian dollars that you sent it in. I'm not a big airline guy. I would say OVV, take their, I think it's almost like almost 2% dividend. I would take them over Canada, but I'm not a big guy when it comes to the airlines in the first place.
Yeah, no, my kid's in Air Canada. Look at this Snapchat, guys. It's off. I mean, I wish, obviously, that this move had happened in the market, but we talked about Snapchat. I talked about it yesterday, that this was going to be a long for today. Talked about that 64 level. Didn't think it'd be coming like this, but now you're up 8+% on Snapchat. Congratulations to everybody.
All right, real quick, guys, one from the bottom of the list, SYPR, up on a government contract. There's a couple things to note here, 420, and then there's really nothing until 450, which kind of corresponds with these consolidation levels on the daily chart, but already coming back in. 360 was support here in the pre-market, up big time, though, 30% for SYPR. Guys.
I love where your mind is at, Brandon, but 360, I'll sort of double down 360 being support. I'm going to go to the daily chart. You're going to see it was previous resistance when the stock did end up flushing to 250. I was shorting basically every single pop here, right into the high, got some out, shorted again into 75s, got some out in front of the pre-market low, which is at 60 level, then got right back in when it popped up to that 80 range. So I'm sitting on an 86 short. I've once again taken profit in front of 360. I want to let this break 360. I want to short it on any strength into that $4 range. So I'll be short that one, and of course Ocugen as well. A few things, like 2 minutes until the open here, and of course we try to get to as many names as we can. I just want to go back over to MVIS, which is very similar to the play in Ocugen, only not much of follow through when it broke the pre-market low at 1390. So this is going to be a little bit on alert. The volume's not too high, so that's probably a good sign for maybe still shorting it. But if it does pop into that 1415 to 1420 range, this one is going to be on watch for me, despite the fact that I didn't take the position, was going over to Ocugen instead.
Just to give you guys an update there, we are now out of Snapchat. I just took that smooth. What? Oh my God. Intel's now $1 in the money as well. So we just absolutely destroy the morning. Marlon, you said I'm done. Could be, but then what would you've got to put the show on, right? Wow, this is still moving, guys, up to 62. I just didn't want this to fall back down, but I guess we should not have gotten out. We got out there at 75 for the $1.25 win on that one. But look also, I mean, we're tweeting that out too. Look also at this Intel position, guys. This is $1 in the money right now on Intel. Look where we're short here, 60.50 down to 59.50. So, hey, good start so far. Let's see if we can continue it here for you guys on the show. Big movements happening in the market. I may just go a little bit light here as we open up and just kind of like calm down and understand what these moves are, because again, you can't, like, these are the, look at these levels, man. 60.50 on Intel, 61.25 on Snapchat. Even if you didn't have that 60.50, you're in the money now, 90 cents, even more now on Snap. Wow, Snapchat 62.06, unbelievable. With only 45 seconds to go, guys, thank you everybody for joining us and for watching us. It's been already a fantastic, I know Neil has some decent trades on as well. I mean, it's already been a fantastic morning. Let's just keep this momentum going for you guys with only 20 seconds now to the bell. Valeria over there in her colorful sweater, so that's always a good sign. Yesterday we had the green, today we've got the color. This is going to be a good day.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see that market hold up today. We're going to find out. It's a big test after what we had yesterday in the afternoon. So let's get this countdown rolling. It is Friday. Naked Brand's a bit of a flush there, so that 65 level looked like it was a little bit of something. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Ms. V.
All right. Yeah, just looking to see what's happening. Oh, yeah, by the way, Intel now, 58.50, guys. This is a $2 winner to start the day, so it's hot dogs for everybody. Let's see how far Intel goes. That's a huge flush for some reason, although NASDAQ taking off to the upside. Monster win here on Intel, held to the yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, flush is definitely the name of the game. That spider just came through that bottom, that 360 bottom. I just got shares out at 351, so, you know, top at 383. We're going to take over a 30-cent winner on that one. OCGN also flushing to the downside there. Now, it had made a range at 75. It does break the 50, but there hasn't been a ton of follow-through yet, so I just took some shares out in the low 40s. We'll snap about a 40-cent winner off on that one.
Snapchat.
And, yeah, Coinbase, guys. It bounces so far off of 280, but not too far. No test into 290 just yet, and 280 looms at the bottom, so no strength off Coinbase yet, but still watching.
Guys, unbelievable. Like we saw, look at Snapchat yesterday again, guys. We talked about 64 and that coming through. It's unbelievable that I got out there, but I talked about why sometimes you'll get out a little too early. Look at this move here for Snapchat. At least we talked about it, and it was one of my #1 plays for today. Snapchat just explode. Look at this, 63 right now. Yesterday, guys, we talked about this move happening. I said this is a buy yesterday, and that you could see 64. I just didn't think that would happen on that report, but it looks like it's getting excited now to that upside. Oh, here comes Skills. Oh, I don't have a bid down there. That's strange. We'll have to go with Skills. It's coming down. There it goes.
Whoa.
Breaking through 17
like
right now.
Rock.
What was that?
No, it's just like a rock. I mean, I don't know if I want to stand in front of it. That's what? Okay, so I'm going to back off of Skills for a quick second here and just sort of let it matriculate
Maybe
to the
16?
downside. I don't know why I wasn't rolling into short. That's crazy movement. So OCGN is now at 924. I got to take some more shares off of that one. I can't take my eyes off of Skills, but we'll go walking on water for some of the short trades in there. Snap still goes up. So remember, it's all about what is moving, relative strength and weakness. That's more weakness than I expected over there in Skills, Sean. And just to come, I do want to go over to Mattel. We did mention this name here, and of course it was strong earnings. Not really doing anything off the open. It's not the highest volume name, but the first look was to the upside, so showing a bit of strength. I'll maybe cancel that bid.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, I mean, I'm watching Palantir here. It's not really doing too much. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit more here involved with Snapchat if it does pull back down into that 61 area. But like I said, that was a big move, right? So a very, very, you're not surprised, but like interested in what's going on here with Snapchat. Did not expect that move all the way to 63. Obviously, we got out a little bit early there. I do have a bid on Intel in the, yeah, so you know, that crash again was pretty unheard there on Intel. Was not even close to expecting that. We'll take the win on it. We still are holding 20%. So we got out at 59.50 there for the dollar win. And now we'll wait to see if we can't capture a little bit more to the downside. My only bids, I got to cancel some of these orders now because some of these moves are just rocket ships. Crazy. Palantir is the next one that I want to look at. That's a name that okay, here we come. Come on down, Intel. Let's see if we get this fill. Maybe we'll just cancel this bid. Let's cancel it. We were bidding in the 70s there. Maybe Intel continues to go down. I mean, if this market wants to crash, you know what?
We're not.
Forget it. Yeah, 58. Let's just do a 58.60 or so on Intel. Let's not get too greedy. But I did want to talk about Palantir Palantir quickly. I want to defend that 2250 area. So it is coming down, almost getting ready to take a bid here. Maybe a small one ahead of 75, but not a big one. We wanted to get long near 2150, so let's not make the mistake.
So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. You already know that's going to be true. I mean, when I do, I hold myself accountable for it. But like, you're coming to $9 on Ocugen. I mean, give me a break. A $10 break that goes right into $9. Yeah, I'm out. I'll take the winner on that one all day, every day. INO, which thank you to Brendan for giving everybody the breaking news on INO. It just tried to pop through that 675 where I was basically shorting it after this break that I missed, and it failed through that same 675 area, gets up to like 87 off of the open. We can zoom in now that we out of perspective. If it gets back above 75, I would take it off, but I'm looking to short this one in front of 675 just to see if the weakness does continue. Of course, losing government funding was the big story that Brendan had dropped in the pre-market. That's what we try to do for you guys, and thank you, Miss V. We're gonna need all the coffee today because this market's wild. Despite the good shorts that I'm sitting in, the market is booming to the upside. 13H just got taken on the NASDAQ. Brendan?
Mattel is also booming to the upside here, guys. Again, they mentioned the right thing, and people take notice. 23 just broke in there. Huge volume, up 10% for Mattel.
Yeah, wow. Toys, and more toys. Look at that Intel. We finished our trade off right there with that $2 win. I mean, that was unbelievable move to the downside. So we absolutely crushed it. We only have traded 2 stocks so far. Intel and Snapchat, we did a tester trade on OCGN early, but that's not moving, so we don't have to worry about that. Snapchat coming back into the level that I got out on, so not too bad. I don't feel so bad anymore, but we did let that one ride all the way to the top side. So an out on Snapchat. We will look to get back in, just not sure where. And unfortunately, man, I bid 79s on Palantir. And yeah, there's that 80. We missed that move upside, but that's fine. We talked about that Palantir. The move that I like on Palantir obviously is a break of 2350, but it seems like we missed that low side there. So darn it, I was waiting for this to come through, this 2250. We miss it there on Palantir, but a good day regardless. Like we said, we've already just took multiple dollar winners on Snapchat and on Intel. So now we just have to find what's good and what's next. And for right now, skills. Wow, a nice little bounce off 17. Maybe we're right there. I was waiting for a little bit lower, Neil, because that move was tragic to the downside.
I was thinking, okay, well, there's some levels to defend, but I'm like, I'm not doing that. When it flushes like that off the open, I will cancel some bids. It's about how it comes into that price, not just the price level that you like. I look at this bounce and I see the pre-market low at 1730 on skills, and my first thought is, okay, if it's one of those flush out trades where it wipes everyone out only to run higher, that's a good, nice little kill zone. Now, when it sells the way it did, I'm gonna take a shot shorting in front of it the first time. Maybe if it breaks like a 35 or a 40 area, I'd get out and look for a reversal into the long. But first things first, when I see it sell like that, I gotta try the short trade. At least I couldn't live with myself if I didn't when I see that kind of action. So yes, I am short skills into this little pop. If it breaks through, call it like that 35 to 40 area, I will get out and reassess. Ocugen holding $9. I mean, that was a flush, a big time flush. Still got that spider, but let's go to Brendan.
All right, good indication for the potential of a positive day here, guys. Some of the chip makers popping up early. AMD, 3.5%, just tagged 82 there on volume, guys.
Loving AMD. There's that MVIS. We talked about taking that one long. So let's see where this one wants to go. I took skills long, and now we're long MVIS. So let's wait to see where this goes. We're long at 55. It's trying to break out. We don't want to make the same mistakes as yesterday and not take some profits. So here we go. MVIS, 14.55. Let's get out. Bang! 10 cents, 12 cents right there already. Let's see how high this wants to go. MVIS, we talked about this one yesterday being a big winner for a lot of people. And today, let's see if it can go back again. We had a nice trade on this yesterday. We're going to try to do it again. Did I just get 74s? Boom! What a day this is, guys. It's a hot dog flying around kind of day, to be honest with you. There's another win for us. 14.50 upside. Boom! That one, 25 cents. Oh, yeah. And skills right now. 17, we took a 17.10 long. Let's see if it wants to get to the high side, 17.50, but there goes MVIS. Already took some out, 74, 75, another big win.
Yeah, and I just want to check back in. I know you guys are watching that Naked Brands. There were a few other names on the list that I was watching a little bit more heavily. Sorry, there's Micron. I was just having a quick look at MU there to see if it was following along. Not much, but there is that fail again. So 65 level that we pointed out looks like it's a bit of a good one. that means I'm going to jump on the other side of this trade. I mean, I have an obvious out at the high of the day. I'm going to start getting into position if I can around the 62 range on naked brands here. Just noting Tesla just broke back past 720, not really participating too much in this upward move. So you are seeing a couple of chip names, AMD leading the stretch to the upside that I can notice.
So let's check in on Fisker right now, and just to see what we can do on that name. We were looking to get down low side there. No, nothing. My bid on Fisker right now, I put it too low probably, but just waiting to see if we got a bid. 1320s we were looking at for Fisker. I thought I talked about it coming down to 50 and we would defend that, so we should have done that. So let's put another order low side here on FSR and then just see what we can do with Fisker. So we're out of 60% of our MVIS right now. We're waiting for skills to pop, but that doesn't look like it wants to do a whole hell of a lot. So Fisker, darn it, missed that one. Let's put another order lower on Fisker. So happy you brought up AMD there, Brendan, because this has been a position of mine that I was wondering about because it had decent moves to the downside, and then today just explosion city here on AMD. So weakness on Intel and strength on AMD. That shouldn't surprise anybody. What's up, Red Dope?
Strength coming back into INO as well, guys. Just broke back through VWAP there and testing $7. Bit of a support area on the way down this morning. Negative news, obviously, but buyers coming into INO.
Broke that 75. I just lost like 12 pennies on that bad boy when I shorted it. Not quite yet, but if it breaks 17, mad skills, yeah, you know, we got him. Mr. Funk, you know what, I'm not going to do too much. If you guys know what that track is from, absolutely legendary, top 10 all-time group in my opinion. 17 looks like a bit of a problem here. So I know you got, this is an interesting thing, because Sean and I sometimes are long when the other one is short, but I have a 20, and I know, Sean, you got a 10 long. I have an out about that 30 to 35 area, and Sean's looking at that 17. So it's inside of the range. And this is what it's all about. You got to find those price ranges that you like. If it breaks down at this point, I mean, Sean's going to have a small hit, I would assume. And then I still have a chance to, now that I've taken profit out, where I won't lose on the trade. So you have to have an area where you know you want your entry point, where you know you're going to be right or wrong. It's not just about a direction. Although, if I had had this same idea of just only one direction in Nikola, yeah, look what happened off the open. Yesterday, I tried shorting into the pop on Nikola and took 4 separate hits at it. If I play off that 1280 this time, it instantly falls off of this level. I don't short Nikola today. I told you guys after yesterday's performance, 0 for 4 on tight stops in Nikola, and every single one of them did not work. Not a place I'm going to jump to, but selling on the little pop here on Nikola looks like it was a good level. I'll still probably stay away from it. And noting that Tesla just reversed off 725, that stock's not moving at all today, despite the NASDAQ going. And ES, 5 handle range off the open on the ES. 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. So right now, skills does go in the money for us, 10, 20 pennies. I'm trading this one a little different. I think this one can go, so I don't have stops anywhere on this one. So I'm going to go long until this thing breaks a lot lower than that. So we'll wait to see. I don't know. We'll wait on it. No idea where it's going to go eventually, but that's a good trade for me no matter what. Not no matter what. It could fall down. Like Neil said, we both have different shots on that name right now. Okay, looking forward here. Sorry, I just got to look at this MVIS as it's starting to go a little bit again. So we do like that trade for MVIS, but it still needs to go a little bit more for me. We're in at 55. My best out 75. We took another 66. So right now, we only have 20% left, as each one of these is 20% out. So that's where we are right now on MVIS. We're waiting to see what the downside brings on this one. And so far, it hasn't brought much. We didn't even break VWAP when we tried to retest. So now we'll see if we can moon on MVIS right now. This is why, because we're doing a lot of damage on these stocks right now, this is why, I mean, I can afford to hold a little bit of skills now. It's just been a monster day for me. You've seen some of the damage that we've done on Intel. Where is Intel right now anyways? 50, wow, even lower than that. And where is Snapchat? Snapchat right back in. I think we got to look at Snapchat again, guys.
Guys, a double top here in American Airlines. I know we put the airline stocks in there. They got upgrades, well, multiple upgrades. I know LUV, Southwest got one as well. But double top at 2060. I know usually I'd be shorting off of that, but you know, when I see this sort of hold the bottom at 20 even, hold the higher low, I look for a breakout through 2060. I mean, the market is holding up for now, and I want to have a long somewhere. I'm looking at 2060 break if we can take out this double top on American Airlines. Brendan?
One from the banking sector that reported as well here. Regions Financial, RF, just popping up on volume back above 20, I guess. We did dip on the open there down to 19, but RF with earnings, guys.
RF. Just going to go back over to Mattel, by the way. So there's two ways you can buy a dip. You can buy one that sells right off of the open, or you can look for a bit of a pullback after it stretches itself a little bit. So it just broke all the way up to 23.30. That's a fresh high, as you can see here, obviously. I just want this one back into this like 22.50 range, which it almost touched here. It's only been 1.8 million shares, which is not terrible volume, but it's not the wildest stock in the world. I want to let it come to me a little bit here. So I'm going to throw a bid down around that 22.50 range. It's likely to wick through it, so I got to give it all the way back to 22 even. And American Airlines, pocket aces, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anyways, break through that the double top at 2060. So I just went long. Got 62, so no slippage at all. I play a little bit of poker on the side. I love poker. It's a great game. Don't get addicted to gambling. I am. If it gets to that 75 mark, I'll take a little bit out for that first scalp, then see if it can't get back to 21. There's a lot of room for AAL to run here. I know we didn't go over the daily chart at all, and apologies for that. I just kind of feel like if you can get to this 21 area, you did have this flush and breakdown through about 21.10 here. So that's a good reference point for where we can get back to. So you get like 50 cents worth of room on this trade. I'll start taking it off every 10 to 15 in quarters until we get to that mark.
So I'm wondering about this MVIS right now. We are up to 15 and change. I mean, like I said, this was already a big move, 1535. You know, we've captured the profit. It touched 15 and then came back down. So I'm looking maybe at a 1490. We'll see if we can get out some there. Okay, so this is a shot in the dark here. We're going to try Snapchat right here to see if we can get it. We just took a long at 21s there. It's come down to this 61. I don't love this spot, so we're going to get out if it does break back down below like 60, 80 or so. We're going to get out. So we're going to take a little bit of a shot here. This is not a heavy position by any stretch of the imagination. Up and down on Snapchat. This is why I took the profit right there. Had no idea this was going to happen, but we do know the way. See, here we go. There we go. Oh, we're out already. Okay, that was even less of a hit than I thought. We got out at 61 there break. So that's okay. So a 20-cent hit there on Snapchat is fine. I don't know where this thing's going to finally base out, so it needs a little bit more work before I step in and try to put any risk here on Snapchat. This MVIS, a little bit of a different story right now, as this is Rip City right here. So, I may just take this one out right at that level. It's triple top now at 1490. If we break 15, we'll get back in. But let's get in right now. Let's get out right now, 1490s, and then we'll see about a 15 break, guys, on MVIS. But a good win here.
Yeah, a couple of things happening here. I went to look over, and Brendan was letting us know the EVs are moving. We saw Nikola. Tesla trying to break 25. I just saw that your XL fleet just took out its pre-market high. So there is some movement to the upside here in that group. It's just not necessarily the big boys. I saw Neil is barely moving in Tesla as well. Brendan?
Spotify, guys. Read a note this morning from Jefferies analysts, I guess, that there was still way more upside for Spotify, and their platform is amazing. 5.5% here so far. It's coming up to 280. Volume a little light today, but straight higher for Spot, guys.
Yeah, Spotify is one of those. I've only invested in that on its direct listing, which I think was about 150-ish. So Spotify's been a good runner. Okay, so just as we thought there, it failed again. We didn't get out of MVIS there. I do have an order in the 80s now, but I'm not going to let this one go below this. I mean, even that level's even a little bit much. Maybe 1440. So we are going to put a stop order there at 1440, 1439 or so there on MVIS because it just failed upside 3 or 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's enough for me. It's going to retest this bottom. If we take out this level that we stopped at last time, I mean, obviously we went down to 30, but we don't want to take that risk. We've already captured all. There we go. We're probably going to get out in a minute. We captured all of this move already, guys. So a good trade there for MVIS. We just got to get out when it does, if it does break back down below that 40 level. It's not a bad spot to average in. It's just when these stocks are like, we talk about them being meme stocks or whatever, is when they run out of steam, this can happen, right? They can fail again. So we have to make sure that we watch this MVIS very, very carefully. Palantir, check back on that one. I don't know. We tried to get long in the 80s there and missed it, up to 23.09. Wow, a big move up to 23.25. Again, Palantir, what I've noticed with this stock, it trades a lot around the quarters. So 23.25, 23 even, 23.75, 50, stuff like that. So Palantir, again, does that move at the quarter, back down to the evens again. We're going to go long if we get back here. So I think we're going to start a long position now on Palantir. I like this for the risk reward. We'll play it back into the bottom here, but I like it. I just wish it went to 22.50 because that was even a better long.
Yeah, going to hit a bit of a power up there. Skills bounces off the low of the day. Maybe greed trying to hold through there. It got 1690s for a bit of an ounce. We'll take the 30 cents. And I just got into Mattel, so that one does dip down, believe it or not, into that price range. Just sort of said, I'll slip a bit in here and think it's going to push through me because it's actually not the most liquid. Of course, it's still on skills. It's not the most liquid stock in the world when you start thinking about the spread and the amount of shares on the bid. I did get some at 58. If it does push down through 22s, I'll definitely be out. But I'm actually looking to add to this position if I can. I'll scalp some out in front of 23 just because if it hangs out and does nothing but be range bound, I want to be working that range to the best of my abilities before a potential breakout. Miss V is at the big screen. What do you got?
Hey Neil, TKAT is the popular name on the chat today. Stock made a big jump to the upside at the open. Do you guys have TKAT on your personal watch list today?
I mean, I did not. I mean, we talked a little bit about NFTs with regards to Mattel there. So yeah, once again, this one is going. Now, keep in mind, this is now this is a multi-day rally, which has gone about $10 to the upside. And now you're getting $30 sort of in its sights. It was a level before, especially on the way down. You see when it tried to rebound, it got to that 30 point. I guess you can figure out what I'm going to say next. If it makes another push up, I don't like shorting this here. But if it makes another push and breaks through the top, I'd much rather be looking towards $30 for a spot that I would be shorting this name. And I would say there's resistance at that price if it ever goes. A decent consolidation here on some strength. Not overwhelming volume, but certainly decent enough. American Airlines goes a little bit and then pulls back. I bought the dip, didn't get it, I didn't wait for VWAP here, which is probably a big mistake. I should have actually bought some closer to that 50. So I didn't get any out when it got to that 75. That's pie in my face instead of get out those quarter marks. If it goes back up there again, yes, I will try to take some profit on the north side of 2070 and then look to buy back in front of 2050. And then hopefully we get that move into 21 that we expect.
Okay, yep, there's Palantir breaking through that high. So again, guys, good opportunity there to get long at that bottom. So we're just gonna continue to watch Palantir and see if that story is gonna be true, that it wants to go up. And then we do have a big breaking side here of 23.50. Maybe we can look at that quickly here. There it is, Palantir. Wow, the market busting upside. I mean, that tax thing, what a joke. I didn't sell anything yesterday in that move. There's no way. Here's 23.50 right now. So we'll wait to see if that takes that out. That was yesterday's high. Could be going, guys. 23.50 on Palantir. So we definitely will watch to see if there's any love for that play right now. I did want to look at Square today because, again, in that space, right? I mean, they're obviously all about crypto. Not all about crypto, but there is some love for crypto. If you do see right here, I did write this down. This hasn't come in yet, but I did like crypto's bouncing to the high side. We'll talk about that in a minute. It looks like BTC wants to break, but I did like Square breaking through 240. It touched 240 and then just went back to the upside. So we didn't get that break, but 240.35 there. With crypto going now, I don't really care too much about that Square short. Now that was more if crypto did fail, guys. That's where we were talking about.
It's like every single time. One of these days, I'm just gonna actually get more aggressive on the Silvergate. There's a pop. I mean, I liked it anywhere once it dipped below that 110. It at the open goes to 110. Doesn't break, and now it's up like 10%. Obviously, you're going to get a bounce in Bitcoin. You're going to get a bounce in the corresponding names, and a big one, to say the least. I did get that American Airlines. It did not get to that top end of the range. But I want to come to INO if I can, just because I thought there was going to be a stronger bounce in here. I took that short, got it at 75, thinking it was going to test into 720. Now it's showing weakness once again. If this breaks, call it 645, I'm going to go short off that little break on an INO. Otherwise, I'll wait for a 720 pop. Brendan?
BNGO, Bionanogenomics. We mentioned yesterday, I believe 2 days ago as well, there was news regarding a couple of labs over in the UK that initiated using their system for genome work. So we're popping up here again this morning. There was additional data released on that Sapphire system pointing to its positive work, guys, for BNGO.
Man, AMD is really, really starting to push there, and Snapchat's really bouncing off that 60-50 level. So I think there's probably some love here for some Snapchat at 60-50. I mean, yeah, it's pretty low here. Let's see if we can't take a bid. There we go. Yeah, did we get that? Yeah, we got 60. What did we get there? 75, sorry. 75, so we took a 75 long there. It's bounced off this 60-50 here a couple times. I mean, it went lower than that. We retested basically these bottoms. Maybe they didn't love that Snapchat as much as they thought. I mean, I talked about that I had no ideas that we'd even get close to 64 today. That's why we got out of our first long right there. But we've tested a couple longs since. And if we break, I mean, this is just violent. Like, wow. Snapchat today, 18 million shares and very violent. So we'll take another bid. We'll see if it can hold these bottoms, but we could get snapped here on this name because, again, like if it takes out this low, you're gonna have to sell. So let's take a little bit more. Oh, there it comes. Oh, I don't even have a chance to take a little bit more. Okay, good. So this is not a heavy position, right? You see me do this all the time. We're gonna wait to see what it does now. So I think this is worth loading up a little bit and then playing a 60 break. So a big move to the downside here on Snapchat. Wow.
I love the test that the market is making here. We talked about it being a key watershed day. I went with American Airlines. It's now trying to break through that top. I never look a gift horse in the mouth, guys. If I make the mistake one time, I will not make it twice. I do get a quarter out here like I said I would do at that 70 mark. If it comes back down and gives a bounce off VWAP, I'll do the same thing again, rinse and repeat that action. If I can get it, that's going to be the name of the game. I do want to come back over to a couple of names here. I know I've been ignoring, well, I haven't been ignoring Naked Brands, but it started this rollover, and my intention was, okay, it'll bounce off VWAP, and I'll start here at 62, and I'll just get more shares as it gravitates back up towards the high. Well, you can't get more if it doesn't go up, so I end up with not even like a tenth of what I would like in terms of this position. It's at that bottom, and it's holding the bottom, so I might as well just take it off. And again, you know, it is what it is. You have to, principle is priceless. Your rules are your rules, regardless of position size. If this moves like 3 cents in the money for you, keep in mind that's like a 5% move. If you're not taking that on a penny stock, I don't know what you're doing, especially to the short side when it has positive catalyst, which of course Naked Brands did have. Skills, on the other hand, I shouldn't have been rhyming off of verses and then holding through the low of the day. But either way, it's bouncing back to the upside. I did take 2/3 of it off. If it breaks that 30 to 40 range that we're talking about, I actually like the reversal into the long in Skills as a bit of a breakout trade. So that's a double bottom and then a breakout. You will see me get out of the short and go into the long. Can't be a loser because we've taken profit. No one ever went broke doing that. Brendan.
If you were with us in the afternoon yesterday, we mentioned those tobacco names, nicotine popping back up. Late in the session, we learned that some of the Democrats had actually proposed the bill to reduce the amount of nicotine in cigarettes in the U.S. XXII, big buyer, stepped up, but it ended up not really doing anything. Up 10% today, guys, for 22nd Century.
Yeah, I went long 05s in the afternoon show, and it did butt kiss for me. I can tell you that much. And then, of course, today it makes me like after I saw it not go in yesterday's action, I kind of came in thinking, whatever, it's not going to do anything. But big strong move there for that. So good on you, Brendan, for pointing that one out again.
Here we go, guys. It's hot dog time again. Snapchat, we talked about defending 60. Bang, bang, bang. Nice win for us. 40 cents now in the money on this name. We've taken a couple out. I told you, small position there, right? We get it out when it comes back. And now we have these positions. So these are 60-30, 60-20 out here in the 50s. We'll take that profit and run. Skills paying bills on this side as well. A beautiful bid there at 16.75. We take that long, right? Bang to the upside. I told you we are defending Skills all the way down to 16.50. So there it is, man. Now we're 50 cents in the money on this one. Snapchat, I'm nervous, right? Because Snapchat could hit that. So that's why we're taking out this profit. I'm not going to average in again. We've made money. We've made everything back on Snapchat that we lost on this short or this long break. That was 20-cent hit there, no problem. We're now in the money, 25 cents on this. And Skills still ripping up, so that's a good trade for us. Everything basically working out. Making that cash today. It's been a big day. We're really happy with this sort of formation today. Intel, we can check back on that. Is that still Tank City as well? No, that's battled back a little bit there, Intel. So good hold for anybody that was able to get long there. 58, that looked like a pretty sweet spot.
Yeah, and back from the dead is SPYR. Now, I got a bunch of shares out at that 350 range. It couldn't seem to break past that level. So I've shorted every single time it's popped into that high of the day. I basically shorted on the way back in. No difference here. It fails off of that 390. I jump back into position at 78. I mean, I kind of had a better price the first time, but the second time through, 78 was about my average price. Eventually you short off a level like this, like 3 times in a row, it could break, and my last trade could be a losing trade. That could be the case. Remains to be seen here. So far, so good. Triple tops just made me remember a name that, sorry for neglecting this one, and it's a huge, huge mistake on my part because Path, in the afternoon, we were pointing out that triple top at 80 and playing off that level in the afternoon show. Yeah, couldn't even get close to testing it. This is just an absolute flush here, guys. Looks like the weakness is coming in. Still up, very, very much so after that IPO. And I'll look back to the 71 level. If it gets anywhere close to that on Path, I'll defend in front of 71. That was a huge dip price and a massive run up, over 10% from 71. If it comes there again, I'll buy in front of it.
We wanted to talk about skills a little bit here because this maybe we should get out. I mean, this is a 70-cent winner right now on skills. So we could put this money in our pocket now. It's already hit to the upside, but I did want to just bring it to your attention. I'm going to get out if it breaks back down below 1720 because it'll be a win-win, a monster win. So 1720 on the downside of skills. Snapchat, okay, it's trying to break that 60 even. We still have this on. If it does, we're going to be out of that one because, again, we just put it out so that we do get a perfect, I'm just putting a stop order on skills, that we do get a perfect out there on Snapchat. I don't know if we're going to. There's that skills, 1720, that breaks, we gone. And then Snapchat, we're waiting to see if this breaks back down below 60. So a couple bids here. We're not taking any more. I guess it came close to breaking 60 there, but look at the level, man. There's a lot of liquidity here because it's done 20 million, but like, look how fast this thing flushes, right? So here it goes. We're probably going to get out now at 60. A ho-hum hit for us. We've made a lot of money on this name so far today. Snapchat, Intel, my number one stock today. Could be skills though, as skills now ripping upside. Yeah. Let's go. We spin the money around on skills right now, guys. A big move to the upside here. We talked about this one. Great trade, great chart. 1760 might be a good out spot here for skills, but we do have a trailing stop. Not a trailing stop, actually, a definitive stop back to 1721. Would like this to get to 18 and we'll get out on skills, guys. Brendan at the big board.
Let's jump into North American markets, guys. We'll have a look at how things are shaping up so far today. Pretty positive right across the board here. You can see the TSX here in Toronto. I put it at the top because why not? For Canada, 0.2% for the TSX. The S&P 0.3%, 0.4% for the S&P. This is the small cap index. The Russell as well, 0.6%. Both the composite and 100 NASDAQ in positive territory. As I mentioned, some of the chip makers leading for the tech stocks, guys. So nice to see. A couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market here. Yeah, Mattel all the way back to basically where we started. This was support in the pre-market. So let's see what happens. Still a lot of volume being traded on MAT for the day. Scoutchers had a nice move through 50. This is 50 right here, right off the open up to 53. Again, all the way back though for SKX, guys.
Sketchers, why not? We'll go bullseye because this price level is just a gift that keeps on giving on SYPR. I just showed you guys that high of the day. 3 times in a row it's tested it. This time it goes to VWAP and stalls out. I'm always taking profit in front of it. No extended push through, so it actually didn't hold down at that 360 level. I'll probably have to take a little more off. Each time it tests, I get a little bit less confident about a level like that, especially if it holds 360 this time. There would be no average in. There'll be no short one more time. You have to know when to flip the script. And that's another line from whatever. I'm not going to keep quoting hip-hop. But you have to know when to flip the script. Double bottom on skills and try to hold through that bottom. We take 2/3 of it off at about 1690. Could have got some out at the low, but I said I'd reverse long if it got to that 35-40 range and broke it. It did. I scalp a little bit out in front of the previous low of the day, and now I'm bullish on the name. So I'm going to stick to maybe buying in front of that previous area that I got into the short, that 1720. I would like to see the price action down there. The only longs I have, Mattel testing that 22 level, sorry. So a strong name like, much like Snapchat came back in, Mattel's doing the same. And then American Airlines, which is the other long I have, is the market slightly turning around a little bit. I mean, the NASDAQ maybe, but the ES still screaming to highs. Next target up, next offer out is going to be in that 2080 range, just slightly above that. American Airlines has not pulled back, so no dip buy there, but about to do one over in Mattel as it starts to defend or that 22 area. That's a key one. I mean, I would expect with that blowout report that should be some buyers in Mattel the same way I'm seeing in American Airlines, which is, in my opinion, a much, much weaker name, generally.
Okay, so yeah, we've been bullish. I've already given you my out here on skills, so we're gonna watch that. We should have. I did actually have an offer at 1760, but I canceled that. That probably like it was. I put it right here on purpose, right? And then I was like, okay, maybe we do test a little bit higher. So I do have an offer there, but it looks like I should have kept that because I could have just reloaded there. Anyways, I'm gonna get out at this 1720 break. Put that money in our pocket. It's been a very profitable trade for me today on skills. So we're perfect today so far, man. Intel, you've seen. What else can we talk about there? Big move there. A nice move on Intel for sure. MVIS. Wow, now retesting. That's the last 20%. Oh man, damn it. That's the last 20% we got out. It was a good level. It's just we should have been buying that level. It bounced off the quarters, not got out. So MVIS still a positive stock for us today. So that's a good name. And I don't need to talk about Snapchat. That's been a super positive stock for us. Although our last 20% or so, maybe it was a little bit more than that, comes out through a 60 break. And then of course skills. There's no other stock on the board here where we're losing on it all. We've been trading a little bit of Ether on this side. We can check out what that's doing. Bitcoin looked at 50,000 there. It actually broke a little bit there at about 8:10 or so before we went on the show. Well, we were on the show and we talked about this level. So 50,000 breaks, now coming back in. So we'll see here. Bitcoin bouncing around. That's BTC. And then a quick check here on Ethereum, which I'm more bullish on Ethereum than I am on BTC, but right now making a little move down, a nice bottom off 2,200. So we'll see if 2,200 can hold on ETH. And again, I'm probably going to, wow, there goes skills. Yes, let's go. Just keep on going upside there. I think you can start if you did one. It's ETHH.B over here in Toronto. This is the purpose ETF for Ethereum. So if you wanted this one in a registered account, you can grab that. Probably there's no point in looking at the chart. It just came out. So new name here. There is also BTCC.B. And you can also, if you don't have CAD, Canadian dollars, like, wow, what a good pickup this might be today, Brendo. I may do that, but I'm buying crypto on exchange. So there is also BTCC.U. That's what I was going to say. We don't have it in our system because it doesn't matter, but you could trade BTC.U for US funds. We go back and forth on our capitalization, so it doesn't matter USD or CAD for us. So because it's on Toronto, we're only listing the CAD. Okay, there goes skills back. Do we get out is the question up here at 1760. We have a monster long. We're 75 cents in the money. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster day, but as I told you, thank you for coming by. This has been a fantastic day for us. We're just making a lot of cash.
Yeah, we're gonna pop a wheelie over here. And you probably heard me say a couple of times, SYPR referred to it as spider. Well, of course it's not. Dyslexic this morning, I suppose so. But either way, the stock is running away from that high of the day, that 390, as if it was Spider running away from Cuddy. So if it breaks this 340, I want to make sure I'm holding through the bottom. As weak as it has been, there's a lot of gap to be able to fill in here. Triple top, it just completely rejects every single time. If it takes out the low, I'm holding through. I finally got Snapchat. It dipped down, broke to 60, fail break. I was able to get some shares there at 59.92, waiting all morning long for it to dip all the way down into my bid, which has been there literally since the pre-market, now into the long position. Brendo, what's up, bud?
Another one that reported, guys, American Express, AXP, coming out, I guess it was this morning. We are just breaking that initial top there, 143 and change, still down after earnings, but buyers on AXP, guys.
I just canceled my skills. I had an offer at 70. I'm just going to hold this one. Let's just see how much we can get this thing to run upside there. We've been long all day on this name, so we'll continue to watch it. NIO, yeah, NIO, no. That one just keeps on going to the upside. And I say, oh no, because I have to make a note, because the thing is that every day we miss this move. NEO does this on the regular. If it's going to be a strong day in the market, you get a dip down here, and then it starts to take off. And what you're basically doing is looking for consolidation. It's actually not as clear today. You could go, Doji Star would be if this happened on the upside kind of like right there. I forget what it's called at the bottom. Maybe you guys can let me know what that's called when you have a reversal candle like that. This is kind of it again, but although it's red right there, to the upside. So a nice move here for NEO high side. Missed that opportunity. What a great one that was. As I'm looking for some more names, Apple, SNDL, back to 86 cents. You talked about that Naked Brands earlier. Let's have a quick look at AMD. That's always one of my favorites. Last buy on this name was 77 for me. And again, just took off. It didn't have any problems. Again, the complete opposite. I've said that. I said earlier before the show even started, Intel, and then AMD and NVIDIA upside, right? And so that's worked out well for everybody today if you've taken those trades on. But 82, let's see if this is a breaking spot right now. We're gonna go long if we break above 82.40 on AMD. I like that spot because we have an easy out back to VWAP at 82. So 82.40 break on this name, let's go.
Yeah, and speaking of break, I did get first 50-cent scalp there on Snapchat. Now, it's reversing here, and I should have maybe taken some at 60.50 out. I mean, certainly every like 50 pennies seems like it's a bit of a resistance. If it comes up there again, I'll do so, and then look to VWAP at that 61 for the rest of it. When it comes down to it, you mentioned Naked Brands, and I still have that position there, Sean. So
good.
Try not to ignore it, but look, it's not moving. I mean, it got down to that 59. I took some shares off there because I couldn't get any more at 62, and it's essentially doing nothing. And look, if a penny stock is not moving, it's done 50 million in volume, but that's not tremendous, to be perfectly honest. We've seen some of these 60-cent stocks by this time of day be doing 100 million, so I'd be more active if that was the case. Unfortunately, it's not. Snapping to the upside like it was Thanos. There's that 66. Yes, I would take some off in Snapchat if it got there. If it gets to that 61 level, back up to VWAP, I'll look for a potential reversal, maybe buy a bit of a dip, and then take off the rest of that position. So couple of ways that you could have played this, waiting for that. I mean, either you don't wait and get the bigger win, or you wait and get the small win. I chose the latter. Well, I didn't choose the latter. The market chose it for me there. SYPR, I am still going to be in this one. I kind of feel like at this point, now that it made that flush through that 360 area, if it bounces off 340 again, at some point you got to think there's going to be a defense to the south side of VWAP. As many times as it holds that top, eventually short sellers or longs that are going to take profit are going to start doing so off a 360 to 365 level. Seems inevitable the more times we test this and can't break through that some people will dump at a lower price. So I might actually be averaging in this time at about 60 to 65. We're not there yet, but you got to have a plan in case it does get there.
Yeah. So, God, I didn't even put in that AMD. I was looking for more trades here. Oh, man, I wore this merchandise. So I've got some T-shirts. So, whoa, this is breaking right now on AMD. So we got to trade that before I talk about Merch Friday here. Okay, we'll take a small spot here. What did I just get there? 30s? Or sorry, 40s? Yeah, 40s. So we're long right now, AMD 40. So 82.40. We did like that break a little bit lower, but same price, 38. So we take that 82.40 now. We'll get some more shares in here, 82.25. But here we go, AMD. Here we go. Let's see if it takes this level here, 57, 58. We'll put an offer there. That'll be fine. If we get up there, we'll take that little profit. We are now long at 40 on this name. So good move, but we just need to make sure that we capture at least something here on the upside of AMD if it does break through 50. Let's take some out at least. We saw it stop at 57. Again, if the futures keep going, AMD is going to beast it out. So, what I was going to say is a little bit hot here, but you can get our merch. Shout out to Daryl as well, big merch buyer for us. So thank you for Daryl Flitch there for supporting us and everybody that supports us. We got some pretty cute pictures last week of some father-son combinations wearing the gear. So thank you so much to everybody for supporting us here on the show. But I'm sweating wearing this today. I should have gone with the T-shirt. T-shirts now in stock as well, guys. But yeah, we're wearing this for you, but keep hydrated and everything will be all right. So good job. Yeah, Vitamin Nation, Shakib, we already had our vitamin today, so what up to Kirkland? We've taken that vitamin, and we're going to pound back some water as we are a little exhausted here. Already 81 fills for me today.
I actually have, so usually at this time of day, and apologies, going to reset that. Someone's got to figure out why Hangouts keeps closing chats on its own.
Maybe you guys
really
can tell us.
If someone in the chat understands or knows why that keeps happening with Google Hangouts, it just closes 5 or 6 times a day. Any open chats that you popped out, please tell me. I'm not a big tech guy, but I'd love to be able to fix that problem. I just stepped in front of Ocugen. I don't even know what to say because that 10 rollover, it goes all the way to 860. I was out at 9, and then like, boom off the bottom. Look, once it actually held like this 1025 area, I'm like, I'm not testing it. But when it tried to break again, I'm like, okay, there you go. You get that bit of a new double top since the open, bit of a failed breakout off that 1025. That I'll jump in front of and give to that recent high, not to the high of the day, not holding it to 1080. I think that's reckless on a short that's at 1013 here. But Ocugen, if it bounces to the upside and goes more than 25 cents against me, I'm out. I'm not going to stand in front of that. So that's a monster pullback or pushback to the upside that Ocugen just did. I don't know how much I'm willing to be stubborn about it. Brendan?
Just had an alert on a firm here, but my window is not opening. They quietly, guys, after market yesterday, announced they picked up this company called Returnly. So a firm acquiring Returnly. So as soon as that opens, I'll read more about that. But anyways, AFRM just breaking to the upside through 72 here on a decent volume spike. Up nicely, guys.
Yeah, nice. Good. I may trade that. That's good news there today. We'll fire off some hot dogs here because there it is, AMD. We take that win off, take out half of that. It goes right to our level there at that 82.57, I think it was. Yeah, 82.57. So a 17-cent win there on AMD. Remember, we do have that drop spot there. We take out half. I don't know if it's still going to be a winner or not, but we did take out that half. Now we'll wait to see if it can take out 83 and then celebrate that big time. Skills, man, yeah, we got greedy. I told you I had an offer here, and that's where we should have got out. Now we're going to wait to see if it breaks back down below and get out again. So Skills still paying the bills, up a lot of money on that name so far today, and then AMD's been a good one. That's all that we have right now. Looking for some more spots to get into. Hell yeah, I see my number one position so far. Not so far, that I'm currently holding in a swing account is PaySafe. I may put this, I mean, it's in my swing account, but I may hold this one for a little bit longer here as we are looking at PaySafe now, up that 2.5%. It's bounced off. I mean, again, it's changed from BFT, so you did have a nice little bottom there, but look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now in a row to the upside, and now today up that another 2.6%. AMD does come back down, so we did take an average now, so we do have another piece here. So let's get out in the mid 40s if we can. AMD trying to run.
I'm going to do a backflip here, and this is not, look, I'm trading Ocugen here. That's for you guys. Thank you for all the input. I'm going to go through that on Hangouts. Like, yeah, not supported because they're killing it, and then some of the text, funky text that we have to possibly enable. So thank you guys so much for letting us know. It's a bit of pain in the butt having those closed. A bit of a pain in the butt at $10. Now, this was not an iceberg order because I saw it break through 10 several times, but it gets down to like 97, 98. Offer doesn't trail with it, and then it pops right back up. Now, we wasn't going to be bidding until this area in front of 980, but instead I did take a small amount out for a 10-cent scalp just because I got to take something out here when I see a level like that. Very, very strong move to the upside. I told you I was a little bit apprehensive. Didn't take it the first time, and again, took it the second time. Not for as many shares as we had before, because that's a redonkulous move up, and I don't want to fight it too hard. Can't be too stubborn. I can tell you over with that long in American Airlines, which I get to Mattel in a second. By the way, I got to hit that face slap for Mattel if I can find it somewhere. I'll do it in a second after talking about this AAL. Get out at 83. Keep thinking that this thing is going to pull back into VWAP. Again, I had to go in front of you up here to pick up 57s. Thought it was going to dip back here to give me like 60s. Didn't. Thought it was going to dip back after this move to give me like 60 to 65. It didn't. I just can't keep chasing this up. So I haven't been able to add to this position on American Airlines, but it is still grinding towards the upside. And Snapchat as well. This one going pretty decently. I said I would get it out in front of VWAP. We went ahead and did that. So that's a couple of longs that did work. And of course, the one that did not. So boo-hoo, what was supposed to be a strong stock in here today, picked up some Mattel, said, let's be patient. I thought here it was gonna run through me the first time. It didn't. I wait for it to add, and then it does run through me, get it in front of 22s, dig in, I have my out, I take it. Mattel's still up 5%. So I still think there might be a bit of a bounce in it, but I'm gonna go to what's working and stick to what is working. If you're trading 7 or 8 symbols, and one of them looks like this for you, stick to what is good. So that's why 3 times I'm into that SPYR, multiple times into Snapchat, and of course, American Airlines. I wish I could get back into it, but if it's going up and you can't buy the dip, sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we can hold on to our trades. I haven't traded too many names, but we are going to go 5 for 5. AMD right now, again, another one. It came down into the 30s. We took the long. Look where our outs, 45 and then 49 as our outs. So a couple of 15 penny winners right there off that, an initial 20-cent win off that play. So, sorry, 17, then back-to-back 15. So you're going to see AMD now long 82.35. So this is the last piece. The NASDAQ's trying to come down. I don't think I'll hold this one for very long. We've took a 17-cent winner on 2/3 of this position. As you can see, we are holding 1/3 back. So if the NASDAQ gets going upside, we do have some higher side visions of this one. But for right now, AMD, we're going to try to hold that as far as we can. I mean, we're in the money 10 cents. So either way, it's money. But who knows how high, man? We could get to 83. We'll just wait for that one. I don't know why you guys like that money one, but I don't know. I could, if you don't like it, let's figure something else out and we'll play something else.
I don't see anyone saying anything bad about it. So I mean,
okay,
I see you keep hitting it.
I think it's annoying, but you want me to look at? Let's look at MindMed, sorry, Neil, before we go back.
I don't think it's annoying.
Some people, okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just my voice is super annoying, which it is. So okay, MindMed here. Bang! A big move up for MindMed today, guys. We talked about why that was happening. We gave the big ups in the pre-market there. Up 30% on MindMed. Maybe it's because I said I was invested in it. I doubt it. Maybe this is probably the price I'm long at. I'll have to double check. But a big move up for MindMed as they get the official approval on the uplisting. Congratulations again, Kevin O'Leary, J.R. Ron, uplisted to NASDAQ on April 27th. And again, I talked about this. Just like new tech, like this is a new side. This is a new business. We know what they're all about. You can check out the interviews up on our page if you want more information. But again, in volatile markets, new issues will fall. But again, the uplist to NASDAQ, brings a little bit more capital to play, a little more availability for people to invest in it. So MindMed today, a big 30% up. Nice move. Congratulations again to the team over there at MindMed and anybody that's been with us for day one. I don't know if you remember, Neil, but they were, of course you remember, but they were here when they IPO'd. I'll have to find out the exact date, but if you were with us, we've had a lot of companies on, but when they came on here on the NEO exchange, it was a big deal for us. And, that was 50 cents. It might have even been lower at that point, but it goes all the way to 5. So that's 10x there, even touching 650 on a blowout. But nice move for MindMed. Even since we've been talking about it now, you're up even more percentage points. Thank you guys. If you're heading in there and buying this stock, we'll see. But good day for MindMed, monumental to say the least.
You always want to have like a certain percent. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say you always want to. It's a good and solid idea to have a certain percentage of your portfolio in those sort of shot type plays. Someone asked look a gift horse in the mouth. I try not to. Look, that can be scary for you there, but that's why you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. I cannot ignore, if you're going to range-bound trade, I'm going to short off the high of the day on an SYPR every single time, and it's been now 3 times we've really done it. Yeah, well, it's now twice that it's been unable to break through 340, so it snaps down here. I wasn't going to take anything off when it got here last time, thinking it's going to break through. When it bounces off it again, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, take a little more profit. If it goes back to the top, I've already sort of said I'm not going to average in at that particular price. I can tell you skills. I turned the other direction on skills because I feel like sometimes you have to play the price. Not sometimes. You've always got to play the price action. It was a scalp. I did not get the next leg out at that 17.75 area. Dipped into VWAP. I picked some up in front of 17.20. Basically, that previous pre-market low where I was shorting off of before, I went back into the long. This time I will take some out between 50 and 70. If it gets back up to that price, we'll be working a bit of a long position, but I don't want it to break 17. I'm not even testing that bottom at 1670. That would be a separate trade, I would have to think, and watch out for Snapchat. I took my profit on Snap, look, I know you said this, Sean, and it feels like it's that kind of morning, right? Like, if you don't take your profit on Snapchat, and I said I get it all out in front of VWAP, it's coming right back into the low. So unless I got to cancel my stop that was covering the long, I don't want to go short on this today. Clearly that was the wrong decision because each time you get a good price in, and if you don't take it, they're selling the Snapchat news. Already 10:20. Let's go to the small cap recap with Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, let's jump into small cap world. We'll have a look at how these things are shaping up from a different perspective. There's this SYPR I talked about just before the open. I said 420, 450. It's really not doing a heck of a lot. There is a range here that's tradable, 380 down to 350. Trying to break to the downside, I managed to make a whole bunch of executions and not really do a heck of a lot. But still looking for 420, 450. If we break to the downside, this is 270 from yesterday, so no reason it can't revisit those levels. Let's talk about Ocugen. Great opportunity in the pre-market here, down to 880. It was trading in the mid-10s up here. If 1050 doesn't hold, we're probably seeing 11 on Ocugen, but if we start to break back down here, still like Ocugen as well, but great opportunity if you caught that one in the pre-market. INO, just wanted to mention on this, you know, you're never going to catch this move on news like that because it happens so quickly, but don't be afraid to look for some follow through, look for a consolidation, then sellers coming back in, give you a good kind of secondary push there on INO. I actually took the long here because there was a big buyer that stepped up to see if we can't get back up into 7 here on INO, guys.
I think what you meant there is don't be scared, not don't be afraid. Come on, let's spice it up a little bit. As you said that on, I mean, like, I don't know. Brendan just said Ocugen, and he talked about some of the levels to the upside, and it bounces off VWAP right in front of my face, and then smacks up 20 cents or so. I said I was a little bit concerned with this long if it couldn't break through, and some of the price action I saw going around that 10 level, and here we are back to break even now. You know, I could sit here and give this all the way to that previous stop that I had when I got in at 1035. I kind of feel like that doesn't make any sense. I got most of it out. At this point, I'm kind of looking right back at this 1020 and saying close to break even is going to be my out. That is strength. That is a ridiculous move that it just put back in. There's no need to fight it too far. So I'll go like 1020, 1025 area and get it out. I just want to tighten the stop up. It's also getting close to that 1030 time. And that was just, look, it was a crazy move to the upside. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Still in the short, still hanging on to it. I still like it if it can get that, break that 970. I think we're going to 950 and we can catch maybe close to like a 60-cent winner on the last of it. But got to have a plan of action in case it goes wrong. I just finished saying that I can't get in on dips in an AAL. It's another double top. So I got in when it formed like on the 1 minute, an opening range double top at 60. It's now sitting here at 85 with a bit of a double top. I'm going to go ahead and take some more shares out, and I'm just hop on that BYX to get that nice little fill there at 2085. Anyways, had the order, get to fill. If it comes back down, I'm still looking to buy a dip. I'm just not nearly aggressive enough each time. But AEL, nice little play. Upgrades across the board. I mean, Southwest got an upgrade as well. Just happened to play American Airlines here today when I saw that 2060 area.
You know, we say if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. But this glove fitting right now as AMD guys, I mean, look what happens. It drops right down to VWAP there. We take a bid, 82.0, what are we long? 82.08, out right there, 82.28. I mean, we're taking that profit out so that no matter what, you know, obviously we're going to have some money here on AMD, but we are noticing right here that this could fall. The NASDAQ may have just reached its high there. Remember what Arun was saying? I mean, every Friday, is a different kind of a day. We'll have to see, will they want to hold? We see coronavirus going absolutely crazy, obviously, in India and in a lot of different countries. I don't think, I mean, hopefully the worst of this is behind us, but there are reasons why people would sell stock into the weekend, right? So anyways, here it is, 20 cents winner right now as we continue to talk about the weekend, man. I think we've already got some ribs ready to go. I got to marinate those. There goes, okay, AMD right now, guys, a 30-cent winner, 82.35 now to the upside. Let's see how far this one wants to go. I mean, let's go. Here we go. AMD now taking out not new highs, but taking out a level that I didn't think we'd get to after dropping this low. So AMD, I'm going to wait for 83 now. Maybe the NASDAQ does want to go up heading into the weekend. I'm going to hold this one. You got to do something. So this is not a horrible spot for us today. I've been hydrating here as it was 2 degrees when I woke up. It's supposed to get to 17 today. So
yeah, it fooled me bad this morning.
Yeah, yeah, but right now it's 8 degrees. And those of you that know, we do get some issues here with our HVAC. So we're going to wait to see if the AC does kick on, but it's only 8 degrees and it's probably okay in here right now. I'm just, with the trades, with the excitement, you do get a little bit worked up there. But Brendo, what's up?
Yeah, I think it's actually normal. It seems normal anyways. But anyways, when we were looking at earlier in the week, guys, Pinterest, pins up here on a positive note after market yesterday, 3%-ish, but struggling here at 75. So the Snap and Pinterest kind of moving around today.
Yes, sir. I don't even have any Twitter, but those two I like. MVIS, I mean, yeah, that's a little strong. So I feel like it was a good decision not to dig into this name, as it is just, I don't know the word. Going parabolic, that's the word. It's going parabolic to the upside. Now, the only reason I bring it up is you're coming into this sort of lower high at 1630. When this happened at 15, I did not take the trade. When it happens at this particular price, I'm going to take a quick little shot here. But, are you kidding me? Do I have to check? Maybe we might not have locates on that particular one. And I just saw in level 2 this. So 170,000 shares holding it up at 1590. I've seen that before, and I don't know whether or not that's a legitimate order, but I've seen that before at a level that I think is going to be inflection, and then it's someone trying to, I don't know, doing whatever it is that they're doing to get some more fills to the upside by holding it at this particular price. I gotta go check to see the price of locates on NYSE, but I'm not too sure that that's going to be a legitimate bid. If it pops through it to the upside, I'm still looking at that sort of 1630 area as the top.
I'm just going to mention here on Twitter that I was loving the action. We're not in on this yet, but loving the action on Palantir the last couple of days. We wrote down here today on the sticky note, unfortunately, we didn't get anything long at the top there, 23.50. So we're at that level now. We want to watch it. We'll take a break of that, but 22.50 to the downside. That's really, like, we were hoping that we would get long down there. But again, if I just wrote down 22.75, we would have defended that. But we did have some big drops yesterday, obviously, in the market down here to 50. So that's where we were looking for. I was not expecting the NASDAQ to rebound, although we did talk about that rhetoric that Joe Biden was spewing yesterday about the tax increase. So yeah, I guess people shrugging that off a little bit, but we're definitely liking the action over the last couple of days on Palantir. We did talk about it. My last buy was 21.80, so good movement here for Palantir to the upside. I like this stock still, and I'm going to take a break. If it does go back above there, 23.50, we're taking that break long, that's for sure. Just to check back on Skills, we looked at that name, but not much really happening. We did get out on that break right there. So again, in and out, that's a flat trade. So actually, yeah, it's a couple pennies. And then this one was a long 16.73. And then again, we had the dollar in the money. Don't know why we didn't. I mean, I know why we didn't take it. I thought more. But we did take out at 17.18 there. So that is about 25 and 18, about 45 cents or so on that win. So happy with the movement there on Skills, just not happy that we didn't take the profit. So again, another positive stock for us. We don't have anything negative right now. We're just waiting to see what AMD does, as that's my only long position. And this one's in the, whoops, this one's, where did it go? This one's in the money, 23 cents. I'm just hoping that we can get up here somewhere 82.80.
Yeah, first shot, we'll do this for NYSE. Like, it was 1.18 cents per share to be able to get the locates. So thank you,
wow, NYSE.
Although, do I want them? Because after, it just took the hit there. I got the short right at that 16-15 area, just a little bit lower than that. And then it breaks the quarters, which was that fresh high. Again, tight stops when you're fighting the trend. And then for those of you that are tracking at exactly the same time, that OCGN, thank goodness we didn't average into this one, bounces off VWAP. I moved my stop down to get out around break even. And that is also looking very, very strong. So with a couple of these, and we were talking about these lock and step, obviously they've traded a little bit differently here because there was the massive flush on Okigen here, whereas NYSE has been basically nothing to the upside. Both strong moves off the bottom. I would have to say, of course, if I have to pick one, I'm likely to jump back into Okigen, just given it hasn't broken through the high of the day and is going gangbusters in NYSE. So the bulls are winning big time in NYSE and now trying to do the same in Okigen. Strong stocks right now. Brendan?
Just saw this one, COTY, the beauty product maker, just popping up. You can see volume stepping into this as well. This is 52-week high territory here, guys, above that 960 there for COTY. They came out with a general update, I guess, a corporate update for the rest of this year. That was positive. It's 10:30. Let's get a check on Europe. What is happening over across the pond? 1 hour to go in the session. V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are negative as surge in coronavirus cases offset optimism around earnings reports. Luxury stock Moncler is down 5% after reporting first quarter sales lower than year earlier quarter. Back to you.
Yeah, that's the first one this week, in fact, that has been negative. The rest very, very positive in the luxury space, guys.
Oh, man. I was just talking about, I just want to talk about that NYSE. Like, how good was that level there that we gave out for you guys here? 1450 to the upside. The thing is, we had that trade. Like, we had this. trade. Like, again, I talked about why I like this long. I talked about it all show. So pre-market, I hope you guys have this one. It's definitely a missed opportunity, but I mean, I'm glad that I favored the long side early on this name for you. Hopefully you just weren't as like responsible maybe, because again, I thought it could go to the downside, but if you're gonna trade, man, you gotta take risk. I should have held that last 25%. So congratulations on anybody that got out there. I think that was, that was able to hold through that move. Very. Holy crap, MVIS,
banks,
man. You killing me, buddy. You killing me. But what's not killing me and what's putting a lot of money into said pocket right now is this OCGN. We take that 1050 break. And again, here's the list, right? There's OCGN right in the middle, right where my finger is, 1050 break. There's another 40 cents for you on the upside. So yeah, man, we just continue to crush these names today. What a good day it's been for trading. Every single thing is just absolutely on fire. Thank you so much again, guys. People calling the sticky note the golden ticket there, but you know what, whatever. I don't, I mean, this OCGN is great, but the MVIS, guys, that one, I mean, we could have been doing backflips like crazy on this, because 1450, what a big move. At least we had it, but yeah, and I talked about the Reddit army, guys. You guys is strong.
And I just want to note that here, I saw someone saying the banks are starting to move here, up 2% on Morgan Stanley. I just saw JPM was up like 1.5%, showing strength in look, we're looking around when the market was going up, and you saw, AMD was pushing upside. I'm wondering what other names are there. Been in the airlines, AAL, that was going. So just having a quick look to see strength in the banks. Of course, my daily chart. I wanted to show you the daily chart, but it is frozen on me. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna get some data issues from time to time, and that one I'll have to reload it. I thought INO was gonna make a bigger move. It never broke that 650, so no breakdown trade there, no bounce as well. This is now falling asleep. INO is going to be off my radar. I'm going to cancel my stop, at least for the time being. I don't know if I want it going into lunch. Well, closer into lunchtime trade. The SYPR, just to update, still in it. It's still holding the fort at 340. So I don't know if I'm going to love this one if it comes back up to 385. I'm more likely to either take a breakdown trade when it breaks 340 or have a tighter stop trade at 360 to get back into some shares. And Naked Brands has completely fallen asleep, guys.
Oh, man. I just be quiet here for a while because I could just let the money and let the stocks do the talking here. I mean, look at OCGN. Wow, just another breaking spot there for that stock, and we're just watching this one going nuts. I mean, what a big day it's been here today. I mean, what name that we've traded hasn't really gone through the roof here, man? Like OCGN, hello, 1180 now. Sorry, not 1180, 80 cents in the money. Now still going up. We're long at 1050, guys. OCGN, like, yes, sir. Now we're going to try to hold, man. We're not going to MVIS ourselves on this one, guys. We're going to try to hold this as long as we can as we just continue to cash, man. AMD, that's, again, another 30, 40 cents of the money. Let's just sit back, relax, sip some cognac, because this has been a big time day. I could kick my feet up. We're already monstrous today. It's been a successful day. I hope you guys are having just as much fun as we are. Thank you for joining us. We're back at 4:15. We still got an hour, or 3:15. We still got an hour to go, though. What a monster market. What monster moves today. I hope you're having success out there, and thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, and that 280 level on Coinbase bounces off it. We're getting close to that 300 now. We're just shy of 50,000 in spot. So if we blow through that, I don't know how much I love that 300, but if we have any kind of a pullback in spot, that 300's got to be a level. Sorry, that 300 on Coinbase has got to be a spot that I look for the short. Again, it's a day trade. At the end of the day, that's what we do. American Airlines first, well, not the first, but another sharp pullback here. Now, it came to 21. I was like, I should get some shares out. But I'm like, nah, market is strong. Market was pushing the high, so I didn't. If it comes back up there again, I will cease to look the gift horse in the mouth. I should have offered the first time and got some out in the low 90s. I will do so this time. Each pullback has been pretty shallow. Hasn't had a deep one yet. I feel like 21 is sort of an obvious area that we have to take at least a little bit of profit. That Oxygen, I mean, we talked about how strong it was looking and why I had to move the stop in. I mean, this is not real, guys. It held VWAP here. That's just a dark pool wick or a block trade that went down off at 920. So just to go to a higher time frame here, I am now looking at this stock and saying to myself, can you really touch it? I mean, 12 even, sure, but are you really doing anything if you're a short trader until about like 14? So it's 12 or 14 and nothing in the middle. That's for me looking at the shorts. You saw how crazy that reversal was from the bottom. I was shocked. And now you're seeing the fruition of that trade. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
Yeah, you mentioned some of the banks popping up here. I don't think I've ever mentioned Manulife Financial in this sense, but big time volume, guys, coming into MFC even. So the entire banking sector kind of leading this latest push in the overall market.
Oh, BNG.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we talked about, someone mentioned about JP Morgan as well, making some moves to the high side, and that's nice. We will look at JP in a minute. Obviously, we like some JP Morgan here. Those of you that watch the show know that I'm a big buyer of JP Morgan stock, but not at these levels. We've already made our purchases. We'll see where it goes from here, though, but I do like JP on any kind of pullback. I just wonder about this whole... I mean, will the tax thing affect anything as far as banks' earnings and stuff like that are concerned? I don't know. So I think there is something to look out for there with that. So I think there's some rhetoric that we need to figure out in that realm. So that's one look for me right now. But okay, just looking, making sure we're getting out there. OCGN, I will look at JP Morgan in a minute. We did take out a little bit here. I'm not going to try to MVIS myself. And what I mean by that is I want to make sure I get out, make sure I don't make sure I leave some on board to go higher. But again, OCGN, big time movement. I want to give thank you so much here to Sonia there. Yeah, look. How do you have special powers? I do not. It's just sometimes when you do the homework and the research, believe me, you got to put in the time. If you're going to, be in this business. This is my 20th year, guys. So yeah, sometimes it's good to be lucky and lucky to be good. What up, B?
Speaking of getting MVIS'd, I think Laser is also getting MVIS'd today, being dragged along with it in this move to the upside. 13% as well for Luminar on volume, guys. Big
move in Luminar. That's actually, look, fantastic looking chart. We've talked a little bit about that name in the past. I just wanted to come back to a weak name here. Nikola, bye-bye, all the way to the low of the day. It is, like, again, you are seeing the market very, very strong, and we're looking to those upside plays. And Nikola, the reversal. So it was strong into weakness, or relatively strong into weakness in the afternoon, and the reverse has been true. If this thing ever gets down to like maybe 1140, I think that's going to be worth a test. If it pops, I'm back on the train where I would like to be shorting this name if I could. Just to note OCGN here. By the way, Path testing that 75 area. If that thing sniffs like 78, I'll probably start shorting it off that level, off that 80 level for sure. That was a big one yesterday. But OCGN, I said the levels I was waiting for. It didn't get to $12, but there's a sort of a harsh reversal. Watch out for this like 1080 area. It's not just a pre-market high, but there was a tiny bit of consolidation on the way up there, guys. Let's see if it can hold. That's going to be a key one where shorters might think about coming in. And my next trade is almost certainly going to be off of 300 in Coinbase. I don't mind the breakout, but first things first, I'm likely to short in front of it. We are at 49,880 in spot. Could be breaking through both those levels at the same time, but a big one here coming in CoinDesk.
I wrote down there coin, and that I wasn't sure. It's on the golden ticket there, but that I wasn't sure of any levels, because like we keep saying, man, levels just keep getting busted on Coinbase, which has been a new day for them. It only IPO'd about a week ago. Those of you that obviously you know about Coinbase, so that IPO'd about a week ago. OCGN again. We're just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait for this one. We've already. I mean, that's already there, 70 cents. It does go in the money 90. But we let that come back in a little bit. Let's see if we can't get MVIS'd and hold this one all the way to the upside. One of my favorite segments, because we got to figure out what sectors maybe we haven't been focused on. I have a feeling it might be something in the financials today. Let's throw it back over to Mr. Wickens at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's in fact jump into what is leading the market so far today. We are higher on the day, 0.7. For the S&P. Here they are, the banks that we were speaking of there. The entire thing outside of two, American Express and this MKTX, both earnings names to the downside. The rest, though, all nicely higher, including the individual banks. SIVB up 10% on the day. Having quite the day. Insurance names also very positive. Let's go to the tech group here, being led by the semiconductors, but the hardware equipment makers just popping up in the last 25 minutes or so. STX and WDC, 2.7, 4.2% there for STX. Intel, the only one here, about 6% to the downside for Intel. Everything else higher and then some. So that group doing nicely. To the downside here, consumer staple stocks getting hit today, led by KMB, CHD, CLX, all kind of 2.5 to 5.5% negative territory. Healthcare stocks are weak. Some of the communication stocks are weak. TTWO, Dish, to name a few, but Twitter there, Viacom as well, both in positive territory. I saw the energy group on here as well. Yeah, Marathon, Oxy, SLB, and NOV all up about 2%. So nice way to end the week. Widespread positivity here, 0.768 for the market, guys. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah, again, just thank you for all the kind words here as I'm looking. Sonia, you're welcome. I just hope that you're able to make some money with us here because it's tough. Day trading is not easy, that's for sure. And thank you so much for that. Yeah, look how tired he is. I hope I don't look too tired, but I am a little bit tired, that's for sure, as we go onto a Friday. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend like all of you are, but I kind of wish the markets were still open. Shh, don't tell my family that. But that's why we trade some crypto because that's open 24/7. So like you saw my tweet last night about crypto. It wasn't a poll or anything, but we put that out last night like at 11 o'clock. So there you go. You know, in here early, up late, but hey, man, money doesn't sleep. So we're trying to take that serious and as serious as we can, man. I'm all about this game for you guys. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going anywhere, I hope. Anyways, this level 82.50, we may just take a smooth 50 cents on this. Where are we long at 82.08? I mean, it'd be a 40-cent win if we can get out here. It's topped off a couple times. The market, AMD is already up that 4%, which is pretty huge. So the market's not even close to that. We talked about, you know, again, if you were invested in Intel and you had any kind of wins there, you probably don't like today because it's a big 7% move down. Like for Intel, that's monstrous. I mean, we're basically all the way back. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that there's a little bit of dead money in this name. Like Intel basically, I mean, how far do I want to go back here? This is November of 2019. We're at the level of November of 2019, even back even further. So Intel's kind of been dead money for a while. If you're able to get anything down here, take advantage of that move to the upside. And yeah, hopefully you rotate it out and into other names like AMD or like NVIDIA. I haven't bought NVIDIA anytime lately, but I'm thinking there, again, AMD up monstrous. That was not a great report from Intel, but we still have NVIDIA and AMD to come. So my play for the year, as you guys know, has been SMH. Let's check about how that is. And again, it's just because I'm in all these names. So wanted to give you guys something on an ETF that gives you a lot of exposure. And we made this call, of course, on the very first day of January. So let's call it in here somewhere 216, got as high as 260 and bouncing around. So a nice little win there. If you took this play, which obviously I did as well, it's a nice little return. I have no idea where to get out, and I have no idea when I'm going to get out. Oh yeah, let me remember, never on SMH. So we're gonna wait to retire on some of these plays. It's a long-term play, guys.
Yeah, watching this battle waging here in Coinbase. I mean, it's that 300 level. Yeah, so heavy stand being put in. Now it dropped about $1 in the money. You know, I would take, like, if this was a breakout trade, I would certainly look to take some off for $1, but you know, this is more of like a defense area where I'm defending that price area. Well, I mean, shorting in front of it. I mean, defending is usually more buying, but either way, this is a big time battle. It's gone right to 300. There was a dark pool print that even went at 01s. Thankfully, I was using a solid stop that didn't get tricked by that nonsense. So I thought it was going to happen imminently, and then we're sitting here for 5 minutes, and it's just going back and forth like it's a bloody like tennis game or something like that. As far as Naked Brands goes, I would love to be able to say that this is like a hammer down trade, and I did mention that this was looking pretty weak, and I wanted to short, but I really did honestly think that when I got some shares here off of that 62, that it was bouncing and going to head back into 63, and I would be averaging into this one and getting a price off that high of the day. So shout out to those of you that were looking at it and brought it to the attention. Thanks. I wasn't looking at it this morning until it was brought up with that super chat, but a lot of weakness. There wasn't any buying that I could take advantage of to be able to sell into that move to the upside. Still an iceberg order. Are you kidding me, Coinbase? Like, still an iceberg order, and of course it never changes, so I can't show you. And finally, there's the break on coin. There's the actual break on coin. I don't know, where's my fill? Where's my fill? Where's my fill? You gotta be kidding me. My stop is there on coin. I don't know if it missed. Now I have to chase it up. Let's see if I can get it at like 301 and 50. I'm just gonna have to hit like 301.50 on coin because not crossed far up enough on this, although it hasn't really extended yet. So we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get like 302, something along that range. It is what it is. I'm just gonna get out of Coinbase manually there and go into the long position. I'm gonna leave myself some room here because ultimately I kind of feel like as slow as that was to make a secondary push, I'm sitting there like, am I gonna get the fill down in like the 350 range? Am I gonna get it? Is it gonna pop down? Yes, no, maybe. Couldn't decide. Gonna leave some room to maybe dip by into that range because that was sort of a strong hold. You saw what happened on that level 2 there. I know it held at 300 for a while, so a lot of shorts in front, but it just couldn't get back down to like that 301. It was just sitting there like 301.50, 301.70, 302 wouldn't break, so you know you can get liquidity there. Anyways, I did a reverse into the long, left myself room, which was the wrong decision. I'm happy that it's going up, but we just took a hit on the short side. I said I was gonna do it. I was gonna try the short at once. This time I'll scalp by like $1.50 on the trade. It is what it is. I have now turned to the upside on Coinbase too far too late. I really did think that 280 was going to get tested. It never really got put to the test because this is a wick down on the open. Trust me when I tell you, it didn't actually go into any significant buyers. It was a very, very small flush into that price and now head to the upside. Should have looked at it as 291, didn't. It's a loss on the 300 and then a reversal scalp win to make some of it back. Now let's see if we can't hold. This stock has a long way to go from 380, which was the opening print. Yikes.
Thanks for the note there. Yeah, I like. I really like Coinbase, and I want to buy some after the show for sure. I've been buying Coinbase all the way down, but the thing is, I'm so exposed to crypto right now that it's a little bit risky for me on that. I mean, I think the more crypto falls, the better it is for Coinbase, but we'll talk about that after. Skills triple bottom, Ken H. Shout out to you. So thank you for pointing that out. So I went back in there, and thank you for that. It is a lot of. What was that Canada tax rate? Oh, corporate tax. Okay, forget about it. All right, sorry about that. Just saw Canada and tax. It's like, oh God, I got to pay the tax, man. Okay, so here it is. We've already taken this long once down here. I think we got to give it back to this. Skills is already a nice trade for us so far today. As you guys can see, in, out, that's for flat actually. And then that was 75 cents or something on the upside there. And then we did have $1, so we have to wait for that. But now we'll take another long. If we get back to VWAP, that's probably gonna be a good out. Take that 30 or 40 cents on skills if we can on that move. So let's wait to see on that. And again, like I'm not trying to MVIS myself again, and I'm glad that I sort of made up that term there. But OCGN has just been a monster trade. We got some out at 11.20. I'm, again, just being disciplined, and I got to stick to my rules. It's been working forever. So if it does come back down below, what I do is I look for a level that I'm in at, right? So that's the 1050 break. And then I kind of go a little bit lower to find out, if it does break this, can we get in trouble if it breaks? So the thing is if it breaks this, like forget about this candle was the run up to it. So I think we have to revisit down here. And that's too much of a hit. Because again, on the upside here, like taking first of all 15, 20 cents on the first break, then we take 40 cents, and then we take 70 cents or 80 cents. And to take a hit there, even though we only have 10% left on OCGN, I don't want to give any money back, to be honest with you. So if we break below even to where we started right here, 1040, again, I was gonna use my hand, you can't see that. But if I move it over here, you can see all the way to the back here, 1040. So if it breaks back below 1040, we're gonna be out. But let's see, if we take out this 1150 high, then hopefully this doesn't happen to us, right? MVIS, very, very happy. One of my top stocks today for sure. We took out AMD as well, that's a top stock. But look, it breaks back down below, and again, these levels, right? We're worried about that. I should have left it a little bit more, but it breaks below, we get out, and then we miss a $3 move to the upside. So let's see if that does happen again for MVIS here today, or for OCGN, sorry.
Yeah, and coin couldn't hold that 330 area, 300 area the second time through. An iceberg popped in again. I just got out of it. So, the short trade, we're going to take the hit on the short trade, $1.50. We'll make a little bit, half of it out on the long trade. We'll take $1.50, and then on the way back in, lose $1.50. So we'll end up down on the stock on Coinbase. It is what it is. You got to move on. I said I was sort of cautious about averaging into SPYR. SYPR, I should say, it's technically it's 4 times it's tested the high of the day. I got it 3 times, but it cannot break 340. I don't think it's going to be worth much of an average in here the next time through. I actually think at this point, if it breaks the top, that's going to be a long trade. 3 times is enough. If it goes a 4th time, I'm almost certain that it's likely to break, and I'll go long if it breaks 390 on SYPR. Still have a little bit short, of course, in the money. Miss V is at the big screen, and she's got a symbol for us.
Hey Neil, I noticed that many traders talk about BlackBerry this morning. Stock is trading on high volume and up around 1%. Could you give us a quick review on BB stock?
The stock, eh? I don't know. I mean, our Premier seems to like their older products. That's the best I can say. I mean, that's their daily chart on BlackBerry. Of course, that's stuck on 5. So my 15-minute is frozen. Thank you very much. We'll do it this way.
Look at OCGN here, first of all. Yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, we'll go back. My chart is frozen.
Let's just go boom, tick, 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 boom. OCGN, we just broke that down for you, why we're going to get out. Look, our Premier does have a BlackBerry, and I know you have a laptop at home, Neil, but like our Premier here has a BlackBerry, but he also does not own a laptop. So, like, I'm not sure, and you want to ask about BlackBerry? Like, if that doesn't tell you the story right there. Okay, here it is, .NY, BB, 875. Remember when they had earnings a couple of weeks ago, and it was right here, I guess? Or was it even here, 970? And I said BlackBerry's just going to like probably return back downside. I hope you guys didn't go long on some of those reports. Obviously, it goes ham here as it was really shorted. And then you did see that big move upside there with some of that GameStop. I mean, it's all the same times, right? Late January, early February. So a big run up. We personally know a lot of people that lost a lot of money in this move. BlackBerry is going to be left for dead. I mean, if you want to buy it now, maybe. I mean, you do have a bottom here of 650. That's probably going to hold. So, yeah, I think BlackBerry, you buy here, you have downside to 650 and upside, in my opinion. If you ever get back to the 50 period, I think you're doing pretty good. So, for me on BlackBerry, I would wait. I would wait until the next report. Make sure it's good. Like, I don't mind buying BlackBerry up 10%. I mean, that's fine. I want to wait for the next report. I want to make sure it's decent, and that's when I would step in to Mr. BlackBerry.
Sean, I don't want to add to that. The only thing I'd add to that, because that was perfect, is I also wouldn't be, I'd be buying it personally if you're holding on to it for a long period of time. Like you have to actually believe in their story and believe in holding it for 5 years, I think. As a swing, the parameters that Sean laid out are probably the only way I would take it. It's already 10. Wow, okay, yes, it is time for Money Talks. You know crypto's been moving. Brendan's got the update.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's go into the land of all things money. Pretty positive right across the board as far as things compared to the US dollar today. US dollar weakness coming back in. Heading into the weekend, so you can see the euro, 0.25% back to 120.5. Canadian dollar trying once again today to hold on to 80 cents. We're just above it there early on this morning. Both British pound, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, all of them positive on the session. Australia, New Zealand, we're both positive. You can see New Zealand just going negative here. But yeah, everyone focus down here. We are below 50,000 here, 49,748 for Bitcoin, down 3.5. Ethereum, 4.6. Ethereum was down 10% at one point early on this morning. Ripple, 10.5%. Just wanted to point out, this is $1 on Ripple, so we're all the way back. This entire move went up to almost 120. $2, I should say, all the way back to 1, guys, on XRP.
Oy.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, yikes. I mean, look, obviously, you do get that volatility that comes in. I just want to quickly check back because I mentioned Silvergate off the open, and I thought maybe there'd be a bit of a pullback. Now, it's starting to happen here. Made a top at that 120 level. That was kind of a thing in the past. I'm watching this 115.50. So if I like the idea of it in front of that, well, below that 110 and it holds 110 off the open, if it flushes through 115.50 here, I got to start thinking about, okay, how far does that move come down? Where do I want to defend it? That could be something for the afternoon show. For those of you guys that don't know, we do come back at 3:15 every single day to trade the close. Maybe there'll be a breakdown in SI here, and I can have a look at that in the afternoon, defend that level. Key levels are important. What is in play remains the focus, especially in that condensed period of time. You really don't have time to waste trading that fast 45 minutes. You have to know what you're looking for, and you have to jump right into it. Usually it starts with the watch list or anything that had news in the afternoon, much like the other day, when all of those, I guess, nicotine or cigarette makers went to the downside and 22nd Century went to the upside. Still a strong stock. Brendan brought this one to you guys. I do believe when it was around that 430 range, it was consolidating a further breakout here. So pie in my face. I mean, we have to be flat at the end of the day. So when I was going long at 405, I can't hold it overnight. It is starting to get back. You look at the daily chart to the February top of 465. I feel like there should be some resistance up there. Maybe a few pennies off of it the first time it went through. If it makes another push, I do feel it's going to be a short rounding into that area. I'll probably give it to the high, then take another crack at that actual high you saw in February a little bit later on. But first things first, I like it at 450 in front of the current high. Strong stock, running out of gas just a little bit.
Looking at the skills here, talk about a strong stock that's running out of steam a little bit here. Skills, we did take this. We're going to wait for the 1675 break, just making sure that I do have that order out. I do. But, I mean, one trade that's working nicely right here is this OCGN. It's now $1 in the money. It did go as high there as 11, sorry. Almost $1, 80 cents. Almost $1. It is going, now it's $1 in the money. That was fast. To the upside goes OCGN, looking for 1160. If we break down a day chart here, you do have these highs, 1225. That could come into play today again. But look at the NASDAQ fading a little bit here. So I don't think NASDAQ matters to OCGN, but it's a nice move upside. We don't want to let this one go, but, again, maybe an 11 break we get out. I want to try to hold this, though, because we saw what happened to MVIS. So we're going to see if this can do the same thing for OCGN. Snapchat, man. Wow. Oops, that's the wrong stock. No, that's the same stock.
What a reverse.
Yeah, Snapchat, what a break to the downside here. Wow. We talked about this one. Bids here, good long. We're up on Snapchat today. Not up as much because we tried to defend some of the longs. And you see here, like when we go long here, out. Those are like $2 winner. And then small cuts, but it's just, it hasn't found a bottom yet, basically. Just kept going. This might have been a bottom at 59 if you did test it. Now there goes OCGN. Yeah, let's just watch this fly, man. 1150 right now. 1165 going to be the top. Our day just, exploding to the high side here on what appears to be a decent move here on OCGN. So let's just watch this one keep going. I feel the air conditioning kicking on now, so that's good. And we'll just wait. Maybe that was the top. Do I get out now and then go long again? Maybe. There it goes. Okay, 1170. It just takes out the top huge there. OCGN now to the high side. We got out of our skills for a 20-cent hit. That's nice. See ya. This is $1.05 now in the money and more on OCGN.
And speaking of Snapchat there, on that big monster move off the bottom in the aftermarket, that's the only way you can explain it there because they did get sold off after earnings. There was one slight pullback before a second push, and that was right at $58. It pulled back into 58. That's the area that I'm going to eyeball. Now you can look, I'd give it 50 cents or so from yesterday's close if it broke 58. So if I take a first stab at 58 defending it, I'd look back to that 56.50 instead of yesterday's close as the next area. Now we bought the dip off of that 60 and that pre-market low. We talked about why we wanted to do that and got out of VWAP, but we said it twice and it was right. You had to take profits on Snapchat today because they're selling off and then taking it. Everyone else is taking the profit, so when you're day trades, you certainly have to do it. Thank you guys for the likes. I mean, that's a decent number. I mean, I look back at how many people watch the show, and it's really not that fantastic. I mean, if you don't like the action here, it's not just about the positions that get taken. It's about why we're getting into the trade, what we see on level 2. We've shown you guys some big buyers and sellers that have stepped up and the battles that are being waged. And of course, Brendan is bringing you live news and all of the stocks that are moving. One that's on the move, and I filed this one away from yesterday, that if we got back up, I don't think Path is testing that triple top at 80. I kind of feel like that's very, very unlikely. So I'd like to sort of step in. Now this was, my best stock yesterday, and it's been very, very strong. It's had a fantastic debut. It's still up. I just feel like after that triple top at 80, if it tries to come back in to the open price here, 76.5, 77.50 was the pre-market high. If it tries to come in there, it's got to be at least a shot at a short trade for me. Got to do it. It's just one of those things. SYPR, that continues to press. Got to about 380 here. Now, I said I want to be very, very patient with it. I almost think it's going to be a reversal into the long, but it did fail this first time at 380. So it's had a look at the top, which every single time I've been shorting, and it's decided to reject. So I'm kind of back into the fray of I want to short this one between that 75-80 mark, closer to the high, maybe the high 70s, and get back into position. And then it's still a reversal if it breaks 390. That top has been a firm one. I kind of feel like you have to at some point give up the ghost. Big seller I just saw there at 1650, layering on that MVIS, by the way, on the offer.
Okay, I love lifting up the trophy, and that's never going to stop, but like, I don't know. The NASDAQ was coming down here, and I got out of this AMD for some stupid reason at 82.20 there. I took the 20 cents off that VWAP play, and then it basically goes to exactly the spot that we talked about, man. We talked about 82.80 right up here. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is trading, right? I have 137 fills today, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks. So, and we're negative on none of them. So hard to complain, but easy to complain. Look, when you're in this business and you're trading to make money, it does suck when you leave money on the table. And in this situation, I took it off the table, but should have left it on. And that's just one more example there to go with my MVIS today. That's a mistake. And then also, I don't think this is a mistake at all because we were loving Intel. But again, like out there at 59.50, like I was like, oh my God, $1. And then we take $2 on that trade. So we did take out a little bit too much. But remember, when I'm into a trade in the pre-market, these ones were different. Snapchat today and Intel were different because we had those levels written on here. And when they showed up, we had to take them. So there's no problem with that. I don't have a problem taking it. But again, averaged out a little bit too early. Brendan, I'm sure that there's lots of stories that you, Neil, and I have where we get out too early, or we take a bad fill, or we start throwing things behind me. But that is what happened. What was it that just fell, by the way?
That sounded like a coin. I don't know. It was metal. That was
my chair may or may not break. So
guys,
okay, so keep the camera on here just in case it happens.
Just want to mention this RMTI real quick. RMTI is Rockwell Medical. Just popped up through $1 here on volume, guys. There's actual positive news on this after market yesterday, but nothing that I can see today. But RMTI catching a bit here. I'm going to go fix my chair.
Thank you, Brendan. Gets the news. I quickly was sort of, I don't know if you guys heard it or caught it. I hope you did. I was mentioning there was a big offer at that 1650 area, layering offers, and it was a big offer there. It did start to push down. I got the short here. It's a tight stop short. I got 36s and 39s. I'm just going to play it off this little range. I mean, obviously, if it broke 50, I'm going to get out. So it's like 15 to 20 cents worth of risk at the absolute worst. Am I going to take it when it goes 15, 20 cents in the money? Sure, some of it. And the rest I want to get out in front of, well, you know what? I'll probably try to hold through a VWAP break. I mean, I'll see it test this 15.85 down to 15.75. Make a bit of a judgment call if there's some buying in that price action. Maybe I'll just get out, take the profit. Give it a chance to roll over a little bit deeper, I think, now that I've taken some profit. Just like on the way up, it's a tight stop. I'm not giving this one like an averaging in and holding 50 cents against me or $1 against me. That's crazy on a stock which is being pushed around and being going parabolic the way that it is. That's just the way that I trade. I know some people that like to I basically think it's going down eventually. I'll just keep shorting it until it does. I kind of think that's crazy, but again, you have to trade your own book. If it breaks back above that 50 lot, I'll be out and gonzo in MVIS. But so far, so good. Nice little winning trade. I try not to hit this for an actual thing that involves flying, so there you go for MVIS.
All right, MVIS, good one there. You know, we're still, I mean, the only position I have on right now, and we're just chilling out. Marlon, you did a good point. I'm going to go in a minute when I'm done this. You mentioned fruit salad time. I think you're probably right. Or sorry, that's Rolling Records, not Marlon. But yeah, OCGN did it again. Yep. I mean, that is what it is, right? So right now, we'll just chill out. I mean, it's a good Friday for us. We're $1 in the money now on OCGN. We'll look at some crypto. We'll look at some plays here. Starbucks near 52-week highs as well today, as I just look at my big board stuff I'm invested in right now. Spotify up 6%. Unfortunately, I'm invested in weed names. I've been in these for a while. My best play, I'm super long Canopy. That's my number one play. You guys have heard me talk about that over and over again. That's the name that I want to get money into, and I want you guys to be involved with. If anything, is Canopy, which is CGC. So that's my play. But Afria here today, up that 3%. For some reason, I don't think CGC, I don't see them on my board here. Why aren't they up today? Okay, they are, just at 2%. And again, if you look at this, we talked about these kind of bottoms right here. I think this is a pickup. Remember, it changed from New York to NASDAQ. That's why we don't have the data going back. We could look at weed.to for that one. But yeah, 25 was a great bottom. We talked about it when it was down there. But again, a weed name, I mean, this can get right back to 25. I mean, this can break even lower. I first started buying this thing at $6, which was late. We have friends that were in this thing super early, like pennies, CGC. So, but look at this again, guys. Again, late January, early February, this went parabolic. I think it can go again. We just need news, right? Anybody invested in any of these stocks? Ooh, Peloton trying to go to the downside as well. Anybody invested in marijuana stocks needs that federal news to come through. So we'll wait on that one. But Peloton, you've seen an ugly chart. Right now, this looks like it wants to bounce. We did get the horrific news, which is what this was there. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think, thank God, I don't think a child was hurt. Maybe hurt, but not, I don't even want to say it, but hopefully didn't pass away. They did?
One did, yeah.
Oh my God, okay. So then, wow, that's horrible. So lawsuits may be coming. I guess that's the move here. Downside, that's 25% down from 125. They were kind of cruising there. And then obviously bad PR. They're going to have to revamp that treadmill. I think they might have said they're not. They've gotten heat for some PR. So Peloton, we don't like it, but it's right at that 100 level there. Again, I'm invested in this thing. Thank God we got some out here. I talked to one of our IT guys here that was in. Once we broke this one, we got in here, like on this break, 118 actually, and got out 150, 140 on this break. But yeah, Peloton, I want to get back in. This is not a horrible level. Let's wait to see earnings. But yeah, sad story for Peloton, looking to break down lower. If you're in this, you can hold till 92. But just a sad name here. I like the upside, but we need to clear out that PR.
Yeah, the bulls over here in MVIS are doing a pretty solid job at that 16 level. Now, obviously, I'm sitting in a short, so you guys know that. But it has already worked for me. It can't be a losing trade, even if it does break to the upside. Otherwise, I probably would be taking the rest of it out. Just be happy with the scalp trade, going counter trend and shorting a pop here that has worked. I kind of feel like if it does break that 16, it's inevitable to test lower. I almost want those stops to trigger and sort of get it down to that next level and get me out. I like that momentum. If there's a place where some longs are probably throwing some stops in to get in, either those that took the break when I'm getting out of this short here at that 16 to 16.20 area, that's not a bad spot that you would think they'd be putting in back in that 15.80 and that 15.60 range. Or it's just people who are long for the morning looking for a place to get out. So it can't be a losing trade, but I'm not going to give this one to the high of the day. I think that's reckless. I did get a few more shares in 22nd Century. It just sort of bounced the upside, got to like 450, couldn't really even push to the high, slides back down. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick up some more shares up at essentially the same price at 448. It's falling asleep, the volume is dying, and it is at a high when you go back and look at the daily chart, or off of a high when you go to the daily chart. All that signs up for me to be a sort of a good short opportunity. If it goes down a VWAP, I'll take a little bit off, see if it can't come back into that 4-quarter range. Brendo?
Some of the Chinese names have recently taken a back seat to other stocks that are moving, but I just saw this one, UXIN Limited. They signed a deal with JD.com because they are an online used car dealer. UXIN is. So UXIN teaming up with JD.com. So nice move here for this one, guys.
UXIN, maybe we'll have to look at that one quickly. I still have this Peloton up. I don't think I'm going to take a 100 break, but it's there. UXIN. Okay, let's have a quick look on that one. Ooh, $1.50 name. That's always nice to trade. When the chart loads, we'll have a quick look. Upside, okay, so we've had, like, look at these wicks, man. When this stock wants to go, we can see that it does go. So, yeah, wicked outside there. The highest it's ever gotten. We do have this crazy move. But a couple stop points here. Like, look at this. Like, how convenient is this when you'll have a quick look at it? Okay, hold on a second. Got to get out of something. UXIN right there, you could see, like, 175 back in October, 175 in February, 175 2 days ago. That might be a good stopping spot there. Good move to the upside. But again, I don't want to short now, but if it gets to these levels, I will go short. 170 there. So, you know, take about 5 cents worth of risk and then go hammer time on the long break of 175. So let's watch out for that. I like that play there on UXIN. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. But look at this. Like, you don't get this too often. 175, 175, 175, basically to the nose there. And if I like trading quarters, this is a perfect example of why 175 coming into play. How many more times can I say 175?
I think you could say it 4 more times. No, I'm kidding. But 58, we talk about how many times we can talk about this pullback in Snapchat. Yeah, I just got long off 32s. 58 didn't get hit. It got to 58.15. That's going to be close enough. I talked about that pullback that it had in the aftermarket to that price. If it breaks, I like a defense closer to that 56.50 to 56.70 range. But the market is strong. Snapchat had a fantastic report. I mean, I know they sold it off originally, but once the market digested it, they seem to like it. Not so much anymore. We'll see what happens with that even dollar. This is a time of day where I think you're waiting around for the levels that you really like, especially if you're going to go counter trend on something like a Snapchat. It hasn't really consolidated yet, and that's the only reason that I wouldn't add to this position. If it starts going sideways, maybe bounces up, holds a higher low, then I think about adding to it. It hasn't really gotten to that point yet, so initial position only. And I just got, speaking of stocks that we like, price areas that we like, right back into SPYR. So it comes up and wait for that 79. I mean, I could have put an offer at 82, maybe would have got some. I just waited for it to go up to 79. Holds the high of the day, which it's now done, I mean, like the umpteenth time. I don't know how many times it's going to do it. Eventually, if I keep doing this, eventually I'm going to lose on one of these shorts. I definitely have to take some out if it gets back down to VWAP, and then the rest out in front of that 340 to 350 range. It just feels like SYPR is gearing up to run. Obviously, I've been only going short in this name, but at some point, it's going to keep testing that 390 top. It's going to break it, and I'm going to go into the long side of it. There's no way around it. Like, you can't test that many times, and I don't take the trade. Another one that we've been sitting in, the only other long, got that Snapchat off the bottom. We've been in American Airlines this entire time. It has not been able to retest 21. The trend is still forming to the upside. We still kind of like it. But it is starting to run out of steam. I'm not at the point yet where I want to take any more off, but if it fails at like 2090 again, I'll probably take some off in the 2080 range. You know, this is that time of day where the market's slowing down. I know it's been a solid day, up almost 1% in the NASDAQ. The ES trying to push as well, up that 0.8%. But if we start to roll over and you got those longs in the money, you might want to take them. Speaking of might want to take profit, yeah. Good thing I did take that profit. I just move the stop in on MVIS. Again, the stock is too strong. And I want to lose on the last bit of the trade, so I basically got out flat here. Tight stops on the short when you counter trend. Just play the range, able to make some money that way. Only 2 trades I've had was a tight stop short, and then another one here. We're able to take money out of it this time. And Snapchat, no bottom yet. I've started the position off the defense at 58. Let's see if it finally has a real bounce in it.
Okay, so the only thing we have, again, we only have OCGN. I do want to watch that XKIN, what we just talked about there. UXIN through 175, so we will watch that one. But nothing happening right now, and that leads me to exactly what you wanted, rolling records. We went over, we loaded up now. We do have our fruit salad here. So yeah, today's fruit salad brought to you by, first of all, check out the shirt. I'd rather be trading on the back. That's kind of cool. We got that one, Trader TV Live. But today's fruit salad looks like it's brought to you by red grapes, some honeydew melon. I don't know if that's the official name for that. That's what I call it. And then cantaloupe. So some nice, there are some wild berries back over there. I left them. I think they're blackberries. I prefer blueberries. Let me know what berry you guys like. Strawberry. I like strawberries, but we talked about this before, guys. Was the blueberry in the freezer? I like the blueberry in the freezer, and I also like blueberries in a blender. with some sort of an alcoholic beverage as well, with some ice. So don't sleep on some nice margaritas or something this weekend. Mango margaritas, very
That's
tasty.
the best. Well, you just said it right there. I was gonna say it. If you didn't say it, I was gonna say it. But you cannot get any better than that. Man, I love some fresh mango. That just makes me remember that I can't travel. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Not
I would
yet.
love to get down to the Caribbean. Hopefully soon. That'd be fantastic because I miss all the family down there, and it's a great place to be. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next year with skills. Let me slide over here to the 15-minute chart, a little better of a look here. In the afternoon, look, you saw what happened at $20 yesterday, and we talked about this in the morning in our preparation, that there was such an interesting hold or a decent hold at 16 and then close at 16.50. We're about to test that price range. Now, what I would love to see is a breakdown at 16.50, hold the low, so like, flush some people out here, hold the low, and then be able to get back in off that bottom. Now, clearly, if it breaks 16 even, I wouldn't hold through that, but it's on the radar for another trial, a little bit of a long trade here on skills. I can tell you I did finally get more, well, not finally, I mean, only a couple of seconds ago. I did pick up some more shares in Snapchat as it did start consolidating. Now, as weak as it's been, am I going to scalp some to this last little pullback price at 58.90? Sure. Am I going to take some out if it tests 59 breaking and then back into this little chop area? Sure, I'm going to do that. And then I want to see if I can't hold till 60 for the rest. If it breaks 58, I have another entry point. I think I like that 56.50 to 57. So I want to make sure I'm taking profit the same way we caught the bounce off of 60, or just when it failed, broke through 60 into VWAP. I'm not even that greedy this time. I'm not even thinking it gets back to that 60.50. I'll be long gone before that price.
He gone. Yeah, exactly, guys. And again, we talk about this on the show, and we're for real. You gotta plan your trades. Like, you can't just get into a trade and be like, I'm hoping for this level to hit, or maybe that hits, or whatever. Like, you don't want to expose yourself to unnecessary risk, right? So whether or not you like the levels that we're talking about, or other names, other levels, stuff like that, definitely, man, make sure you have your outs, because what was once a profitable trade can easily turn upside down on you. We've seen that happen over and over again, not just to our trades, but again, anybody, if you've been following trades, you know it. You've experienced it yourself. You can't win on everything. What's up, Brendo?
I'm actually surprised this isn't a cannabis stock. Tenet Healthcare is what I am speaking of. THC in New York, like that's a no-brainer, right? For the weed space. Coming up to 57 here. They had earnings, it looks like this morning, that were decent. So this is a diversified healthcare stock with a really nice looking day chart, or daily chart, guys, up 1%.
Yeah, Tenet Healthcare. The reason why that's not a cannabis stock is that's such an old name, guys. But yeah, THC. Wow, big move. Yeah. Here's the daily on THC. You could see, and again, healthcare is all the talk, man. It's all the rage right now. There's a lot of names. UNH, upside, a lot of different things happening. So THC, yeah, breaking out. There's that daily. I like that, man. 58, Brendo, is that high there. So THC on a daily, looking mighty fine. And yeah, Tenet Healthcare, good move. Nice consolidation. You see the 50 period, bounce, $50 down there. That's about as good as it gets if you're looking to go long on anything. That THC, pretty sweet. Let's see what AMD's at now. Okay, all the way back down. This is a good opportunity maybe to grab some AMD again. VWAP moving itself back upside. A nice little bottom move right there. I'm going to get long AMD here. With only 12 minutes to go, I like this play.
Yeah, and eventually SYPR was going to make that break. So all of those shorts, we're out of it, and we're now long this stock. I just want to quickly pull up the daily chart. There is that 450 level sort of looming. Look, you can just basically throw out the $7 and the $8. Look, I don't see any way it's going to go there. There was an offer at 410. I mean, 410 to 412 had a bit of an offer in front of it, so I did take some profit out when I did see that level. I got it multiple times here. Well, actually, I liked it. And then it goes to 420 because obviously every single break of $4 has to stall at 420 in the stock market lately. In the last year, I swear to God, it's just always been true. I don't make it up. That is 420. That is the current high. I like the dip now probably down into at least 390. That was the previous pre-market level. So let's see. We knew at some point this was going to be a long trade after all the times that we were shorted, and in the pre-market, I went back too far there. All the times I was shorting off those pops, and it couldn't break that 340. Every single time was a good trade. It eventually had to be a long. Thank goodness I only got back in once. Now I want to buy the dip and see if it's going to be a continued breakout. And speaking of things that found a bottom, maybe, just maybe, Snapchat wants to break up. It just bounced off 58. We like that level. If it can take out this 3/4, I'll try to take some shares off there, scalp it through to like 59.10, 59.15, and then see if we can't hold the rest into 60. Hopefully this is the bottom. It was a fantastic report. You can see it's come back $5 from the high. We said take profit on the breakout. Sean said take profit on the breakout. I said take your profit into VWAP on the bounce off the pre-market low, and the same thing here off 58. I'm taking profit into that 60 level and no further because they be selling it. It is what it is. You can't fight the tape forever.
You cannot fight said tape.
Well, you can.
No, you can't. You'll lose,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about. You don't fight the market, man. Just take what it gives you, and then don't think you're smarter than it because you're not. It'll burn you over and over and over again. But we can burn it. I mean, I went 12 and a half years without a negative month, right? So you can trade properly and try to make some money. But I'm going to try to take this out right now. You want to talk about scalping? What is the market? Well, we're still making new highs. Yeah, I'm going to get this out here. We're long at 35 on AMD. We'll see if we can't get it out now. 82.48. I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, guys, we do have our afternoon show coming back straight for you. Do I take this out right now? I mean, right here we go. This is a night. I mean, again, it's 15 cents in the money. We're sitting there. Bang! There it is. Spin it. Because, I mean, again, we're doing what we're saying there. There's another 18-cent win coming through there on AMD. So, we buy that little dip down. We talked about that. And then we get out. I mean, this is why today. Look at the chart. AMD, that's winners, right? Intel, winner. MVIS. I'm punching myself in the face for that one. Skills, still up on skills despite this hit. Now it's back in the money, damn it. Snapchat, we've already talked about that. We know we're up a lot on that name. And then OCGN, hey, we have a 75-cent winner on right now, and that's another win. So there's no other names I've traded today. So there you go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 today to follow up with our 12 and 3 day yesterday. Things are just working out well for us right now. I mean, we're never going to go 0 for 6, but hey, when days like this are happening, you gotta take the wins. Oh, like let me guess. Now the market's breaking up. Yeah, see. So sometimes again, like you gotta let some of these ride. If I'm too I'm going to say conservative for you, a lot of the plays I've had on today have turned out to be absolute monsters. So I like to scalp out and take profits. It's what works for me. It's what works for Day Trade the World and the system that we have. Of course, there's lots of traders here at Day Trade the World that hold for longer. There's lots that scalp. There's lots that trade penny stocks. Do your own style, but we have virtually no fees to trade. And sometimes we get paid. Like I got paid to get out here at 48 and I got paid to get in there at 37. So, if you do have obviously, execution fees to pay, then you can't scalp the way we do. Did I hear a call for Brendan?
I did not, but I saw Snapchat finally hit that 75 mark, so I did get the first leg out here. It's made a bit of a bounce, and like we said all morning long, and I feel like it's worth repeating. When you see a good report and you see selling like that off the high, look, that is an absolutely parabolic break. You saw it live when Sean had the long trade, just how hard it got pushed into the open. When you get something like that on strong news that sells like this at 9:30, pushed in and sells, obviously I had a long bias in the stock, which it turned out to be wrong, but at least you wait for the levels that you like and you take nothing but the levels that you want. I wanted the defense of the pre-market low. I didn't take anything till it got there. I wanted the defense 58. I'd taken nothing till it got to that price, and then I'm willing to scalp out of it and not sit here thinking it's going to come back to 63. Do I think Snapchat's coming back to 63 in the long term? Of course I do. Right? Like it's ridiculous. I mean, do I think it's going back to 73? Yes, I also think that too. This is a day trade, guys, and you can't sit there, because you believe the stock is going to go to 75 or 80 in the future and just assume that you can buy off that 58 and hold it forever, right? So going counter trend is a bit of a nimble game. You got to be very careful how you do it. And one of the best examples of that, I think today is, you could look at Ocugen. I think it's a better example to talk about MVIS. And the difference between the two is MVIS, to me, and I said this in the pre-market, I was one short Ocugen. You saw that one come off like $1 before ripping. MVIS just didn't. I mean, it's only been, they tried to dump it off the open. I even said it made that break at 1380 and just did nothing. I'm like, okay, well, if it didn't flush, Ocugen flushed when it made a break like that. MVIS didn't do it. It broke to the upside. I wish I had had the gumption or at least the foresight to jump into the other side of the trade. I did not go long. In retrospect, even if you miss that breakout, That pullback into 1430 was absolute gold. You got to learn from your mistakes, but don't compound them by forcing other trades, like forcing shorts off the top, holding into it against the grain. It's too strong a stock. I promise you 100%. This and Oxygen are going to be two names when we come back at 3:15 that are going to be traded for sure. It's unavoidable.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Shout out some super chats here. We got 2 of them, so let's go move over before we miss them. Sam Bet, because you guys, I learned and earning money. Hey, that's the dream. That's what we want. We want everyone to be able to learn from what we do and then possibly add some passive income to your current role, like current positions, or if you're trading for a job, then great. Hopefully you're learning even more than us. Thank you, Sonia, as well for the $5. And look, I just hope that everyone has a fantastic weekend. Look at my AMD now, ripping to the top side. We don't show broker statements on here, but I mean, I have mine open. And if you think if Valeria's honest, I can have her come over here and look. 1 negative day so far in April. So there you go. And the negative day is actually, I've lost, okay, there's 1 day on the broker statement where so what I've lost, there's only 1 day where I made less than that. So like meaning that if I lost $100, every day is more than 100 than that losing day, right? So again, it's up here, we don't show it, but just to show you that the strategies that we use here on the show can translate into cash for you guys, dependent on what your strategy is. Definitely make sure, we talk about this all the time. Look back, right? Like look back at your trading and analyze it. I could have all red days this month. That's not the point. The point is that if you find something that's working for you, keep going. If it's not working for you, be real with yourself. Like say, you know what? How I'm trading right now is not working. How can I do things different? Because next month is a brand new month. That's the way I look at it here. So as a prop firm, we get paid monthly. Our account resets. So, you know, trade it like that, man. Trade it week to week. Trade your positions day to day. Like you don't need to be positive every day. You just need to say, hey, is this working out for me? If so, tick more shares. If not, let's regroup and figure this out, guys. Minimize your losses and maximize the days when the money is flowing. And thank you so much. Shout out to Air Jordan here. I see that logo there. Newest member of the Air Jordan team. A little questionable for me. First of all, thank you, Mike. Don't go. Where am I going? Oh yeah, we're cutting out in 3 minutes, but we're gonna be back. Thank you, Sean, my man. I mean, you guys, look, this has been a great, the GOAT has spoken. Neil, I'm speaking, not Neil. Brendan actually is the GOAT, right?
What are you talking
Brendan
about?
is the GOAT. We're going to throw over to Brendan in a minute. But guys, thank you for all the kind words there. You know, great advice, awesome advice. Look, this is what this is. You trade better than chair. Bring the chair. Let's go. I've already issued this challenge to everybody out there about trading, so whatever. What I was going to say was the most recent addition, there was some controversy. It's Zion. I love Zion. But Luca, what up, Brendan?
I was just going to mention, guys, my chair broke today. But also, there's no significant earnings to look at so far today, aftermarket or even before the open on Monday. I just double checked, but we have big ones coming next week. And I mean, Apple, there's QCOM, there's Facebook, there's GE, there's Spotify. It's going to be a huge week, guys, for earnings next week.
You know what? You just said something there, and like, there's not much with earnings. Like Albertsons might be interesting next week. I don't know even know if it will be. But you just said under your breath, Luca, and you reminded me, Sean. We have a prop floor behind us, and obviously things are a little bit different here because with COVID, it's not full. There are a couple of people that are able to remote trade to a limited degree. People that trade here trade the firm's capital, and you have to earn that. You have to get hired. You have to, what we call, graduate. You have to make a set amount in a particular month. You become a full-time trader. You can get paid out. It's a big moment for traders that have gotten there. It was a lot of fun when I had my grad party. I probably had a little bit too much, got pretty inebriated. It was a lot of fun, though, way back in the day. But Luca, congratulations. I forgot to mention it. He was a recent graduate on our show. On our floor, trading the Coinbase on the first day. So congratulations, Luca. You just reminded me there, Sean, with who I think is the hottest young star in the NBA right now when you mentioned Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying, shout out to a Luca trader on the floor as well. But obviously he was talking about Doncic there. The thing about the NBA is, man, Look, it's a superstar league, but the thing is, when you're putting up all those shots every night, I mean, you are going to score a lot of points, but there's no doubting the all-stars in the NBA, man, the athletes that these guys are is incredible. And a shout out to, the GOAT is still MJ, but still a shout out to LeBron, man, still doing it, getting older. His body's like in the best shape maybe it's been his whole career. Let's hope he gets healthy for the playoffs. I think it's going to be sick. Like, I would love to see like the Raptors. I mean, I hope they can make the playoffs. They'll battle for that last spot, but wow, it's already past 11:30. What the hell am I doing? But I do want to see Nets Lakers, because I think a Kyrie versus LeBron, hello, that would be hot dogs firing off everywhere. Shout out to everybody who loves the NBA, and a shout out to our Maple Leafs as well, taking down their only competition maybe in the Canadian division, the Winnipeg Jets. I think it's like -10 in Winnipeg today.
It's always -10. But what'll warm your hearts and warm your bellies, whatever, is our National Day is always food related. Most of the time it is. And it's the last thing we got to do before we get out of here. Remember, we will be back at 3:15 for the close show. But let's see, Miss V. I like this one. I know we ain't getting that for lunch.
Hey guys, thank you very much for spending this trading week with us. I wish you a great weekend in advance, and we will see you today at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together. Happy National Cherry Cheesecake Day, everyone.
Hit the like button for cherry cheese. Look, first of all, hit the like button for chocolate cheesecake, cherry cheesecake. I don't even care what you put. It doesn't matter. Cheesecake is delicious. I would literally slap somebody right now for a piece of cheesecake if I could, but I can't, so I won't. It's been a fun show. Like, obviously, it's been a wild market. Look, we're up 1%, 35 handle move off the bottom in the ES. Yesterday was watershed. We know it's going to mean it's going to be a big time close. So come right back at 3:15 for the close show. You know it's going to be amazing. For Ms. V, for my man Shantina, braving it in that sweater. It is warm
But I
in
feel
here.
like it's fine now, though.
No, it's okay. Well, maybe it is. I think it's warm.
It's 23. It's the same.
I think it's
color.
warm in here. For Shantina and Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close. Bye, guys.
Ciao.